And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and Camcam. Welcome to the Attack on Titan finale, finally. But before reviewing the
Wow.
finale, let's jump back to the very beginning for a rewatch, review, recap. You see, a few nights ago, me and Kamui got together privately for a few hours with the goal of rewatching as many earlier episodes as possible in preparation for this finale discussion. And after a very busy and productive 4 hours, we got through the entirety of a whopping 1 episode. So, Kamui, before
Are we
jumping into the
surprised?
finale, what important questions do you remember pending that lead into the finale, and what topics do you remember discussing about Season 1, Episode 1, to you, 2,000 years from now?
Forgot most of them, if not all of them. However,
Wow, sounds like
I'm
somebody didn't have
sure.
pencil or pen.
No, dude, it was really funny. Like we talked about so much, I don't even remember. But I guarantee if you wrote them down, so I think I told you to write stuff down, but I don't remember anymore. But if you did, I'll definitely remember. But I remember talking about the title, and that got us on a really long. Dude, we got so many tangents. Oh my god! Oh, remember the bird thing in the beginning?
The
Whatever
bird
that was.
thing? You mean the time loop or the bird? What bird thing? You know what? You discussed the bird thing.
I don't remember. Okay, what did you remember?
Well, I think the bird thing was in reference to, like, in episode 1, Eren's looking at the birds at the very beginning, and that's in reference to
Yeah,
later on. Yeah, like, later on, at
um,
the very end of the series, he is a bird. And he was looking at birds at the very
yeah.
beginning of the series. That might have been it.
No, that's right. We said, was he looking at himself? I don't remember what we said. I don't remember, dude. I just remember we talked about
So
so many
funny.
things. It was hilarious, and it was such a good episode to
Well,
watch.
something I didn't mention then, but I wanted to mention was the fact that at the beginning of season 4, to parallel that, Falco is doing the same thing. He looks at birds. That's how season 4 begins, which I always loved. I really love that. As well as not only that fact, the parallel between Falco and Eren, but also the fact that Falco becomes the Flying Titan, and he says, like, directly after that, what a long dream that was. What was that dream again? Something like that. Again, paralleling Eren, episode 1, but also the fact that he was dreaming about himself being the Flying Titan at the end of the series. I always love that. So good.
Absolutely.
Um,
Um,
yeah. So I guess
what
what?
else did you
Yeah. Let's just jump
remember?
straight into the time loop thing. Cam, me and Kamui don't know what happened with. Everyone always says there was a time loop. So the season 1, episode 1 scene where Eren wakes up at the tree and he's like, "What a long
Hmm.
dream. What was it? I'm crying." Mikasa goes up to him. But then that was animated again in the second to last episode, like the special, the first special, at the beginning of
Hmm.
it. Yeah, Mappa did it. Everyone was saying it's a time loop, and then going into the finale, they're like, "Oh, just wait, you'll see, you'll understand." And then the final scene we get is Mikasa at that same tree. She remembers or like envisions the past selves of them playing at the tree or whatever. But, like, that's just like her memory or whatever. Like, she's just thinking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. That's not a time loop. And then, like, Eren's a bird. Like, is that the time loop? Where's the time loop? Why did they add that
I
scene
think,
into the first special, the second to last episode?
um,
What is the
I
time
think
loop?
how I see it, I don't know if this, I see it kind of like as parallel universes, as like it's all kind of following the same timeline, but there's branches. There's like it branches off where there's changes in the main timeline, you know?
Yeah.
So like and so how I kind of see that scene in the beginning where like Aaron's like, "Oh, that was such a long dream." Is that have you guys seen the Lost Girl episode? Like the OVA? Is that what it's called?
I have.
No.
I
Oh
have.
man. Okay. Okay, well Oodie has. So like Mikasa, when she thinks Aaron like first died, like in the like when Aaron gets eaten by the Titan, you know, and Armin's like, "Oh, Aaron's dead." Like she wants to go back in time. So she literally goes back in time and creates this whole timeline where like her mom ends up having another kid and then like her and Aaron meet as kids, but like
What?
but Aaron's destiny is always that, you know, Aaron ends up dying. And Aaron's always like that's like Aaron's fate at the end. So so she ends up kind of like snapping back into reality. She ends up kind of snapping back into the main timeline. So I always see it as just like she can't ever escape reality. But that's to me kind of like it's kind of like her and Aaron's connection that's kind of allows them to kind of like escape into their own reality, you know?
Is that also in reference to Mikasa's, I guess, alternate dream that she sees with Eren, like with the cabin?
Yeah, the cabin scene. Yeah. And
Okay.
I think yeah, that's kind of how I see it. It's just like that Aaron also, cuz they have that connection. It's that it's also like a parallel universe.
Okay, so you don't think necessarily that she was just shown it through the paths by Eren, but like it actually was happening in an alternate universe as well, maybe.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so.
interesting.
Because
Yeah,
when you have like the representation of the paths, um Aaron sees like multiple things happening, and Aaron's like in multiple places at once. So to me that like kind of represents like, oh, I think of parallel universes. That's just kind of like what I think.
so you said it was
But everybody sees it differently, because it's not explained.
so you did say it was like in season 1 when Mikasa thinks Eren first dies, like in Trost.
Yeah.
How do you think she did that? Because she's an Ackerman, so she shouldn't be able to ask Ymir.
She isn't asking Ymir, I would say. Be, because like okay, the Ackermans, they're not a totally different bloodline from the Eldians. They're still kind of like related to the Eldians. They're just like a
Modified Eldians.
yeah. Yeah, they're just like a modified version of like a normal Eldian,
Yeah.
So that's how like she can still kind of I wouldn't say that's how Ymir is still able to kind of like peek into her mind. That's how she gets the headaches and stuff. But I think it's
Mm,
more of like a connection with Aaron. Like Aaron is also the key to it. Like I don't think Mikasa is doing this by herself for some reason.
yes, because she can peek into the paths, unlike people that aren't Eldians. But I thought the headaches were like an Azumabito thing.
No, it's strictly Ymir.
That's never been implied. That was an Osmobito thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into
Yeah,
that later.
yeah. At the end, you like in I think it's in the anime too. Like you
You said that.
like Mikasa says like, oh, that's why I was getting headaches all the time. Like it was you peeking into my head, Ymir. When she's like holding
Interesting.
Aaron's
But she
head and
didn't
she's
say
kind
that's
of
why I got
pushing.
headaches, but she did say so was you peeking into my head all this time. So the implication was that's probably what the headaches are about. But
Let me see what it says in the manga, and then I'll
It's
post it.
I know what
absolutely
it says in the manga.
100% applied. I don't know what you're talking about. It is implied the Azumabitos get headaches trying to protect the Eldians or whatever. What are you talking
No,
about?
I don't
When?
think so.
When it's talking
When?
about how the Azumabitos are controlled or whatever. How they have a natural driving instinct to protect them.
What?
That's
You're
what
getting
Eren
Ackerman mixed
explains
up
to
with
Mikasa and
Azumabito.
Armin.
I know. I don't think
No,
so.
he says that about Ackermans, not
Okay, then
Azumabitos.
Trippy?
Ackermans. My bad. Same thing.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah, I was
Ackermans.
gonna
It's
say,
the
I'm
same freaking
pretty sure it
thing.
was
That's
Ackerman.
No, it's
that's
not
why
the
I
same
said
thing.
it's not
Azumabitos are
implied.
totally different
That's why I was
people.
like, it's never implied. It's because it's the Azumabitos. 'Cause
Okay,
it's
then it's
not.
the Ackermans. My bad.
Yeah,
Same
but
Who's like,
thing.
Zeke also
It's the same
says
fucking
that
thing. Then what's the
that's
difference?
never come up as like a
what do you mean? What's the
thing in
difference?
their
The Azumabitos
research.
are Asian.
Okay.
Excuse me?
Then what are the Ackermans?
The Eldians are their own race.
Yeah,
They're not Eldians, they're Ackermans, which are Eldians.
no,
which is
they
also
are Eldian. Like
Azumabitos.
And the
they're
Ackermans are
It's
Eldians.
mixed. They're
Kind of like
mixed.
yeah, Oodie. They're basically like kind of like I want to say cyborgs, but like they're but like they're not cyborgs, but like they were modified through science, like genetic engineering or whatever. Like they're
it's even through
like they're
engineering.
special Eldians.
I'm gonna pull up the Kenny panels because I pulled those out through Google Drive.
Please help us.
So I could refer
But
back
like they
to them.
are Eldians, but they're
Yeah.
like
Yes, they are
special.
Yes.
I thought it was always through like
Osmobitos are not Eldians. They're completely
Okay,
different.
that's fine.
They're like Marleyans. They're just from other part of the world.
Because I meant Ackermans anyway. So what's whatever. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Practically the same thing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
So also, Eren does say the whole like headache. He gives an explanation. Zeke does say, like, I don't know about that, Eren. Like, that's we've done all this research on Titans and stuff, blah blah blah. This has never come up as a thing. We also don't see Levi ever have this problem, nor Kenny. It's only
Yeah.
Mikasa. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
and
implied that Eren made that up.
yeah,
It's
yeah, and
possible
Zeke
he's
also
correct, sure,
says
but
no, because Zeke says like, bro, she just loves you a lot. That's why she
Exactly.
protects you.
Yeah, so it's not that
yeah.
Aaron's making it up. The history is there. Everything Eren said was true, but it doesn't apply to Mikasa because Mikasa just loves Eren.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Ackermans do like defy the king, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever. But like that was their role to protect the king. But like, you know, she just loves Eren at the end of the day. So yeah,
Well,
and she gets a headache because of Ymir.
at least it was
Basically.
implied to be possible. I don't know about probable. Like, I don't know if that's the interpretation they necessarily wanted us to come away with. I think they wanted it to be controversial. That's why they never gave us an answer on that back then. Like, they wanted people to discuss it, whether that was her Ackerman genes kicking in or whether she did actually just love Eren and that's why she did it out of instinct.
But like we don't let like Kamui was saying, we don't see Levi or Kenny get headaches. So
Again, it's like a thing that awakens. Like, Mikasa was awakened by Eren.
no, yeah, well, yeah, he, it's like their
That's
will to like protect and their will to fight. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, so what
it's
Eren
like a
was
mental
talking
amp.
about, yeah, like what the
Now
whole
I'm speaking like
Eren
a power
thing.
skiller. I hate y'all.
No, but like, okay, there's two different things there, though. There's the headaches, and then there's like the slave aspect. So we know that Mikasa wasn't a slave to Eren. You know, the thing she needed to protect. No, she just loved Eren. That's all that was to that. The headache thing is, I think, a little bit. Eren came up with a theory for why they get headaches, and that's if they go against the one they need to protect. I think is what he said, or something like that. But I don't. That's
Yeah,
not like
it's not
she's
accurate.
not actually a slave to Eren though, so that wouldn't really make sense. So
Yeah.
there would probably have to be a
Okay.
different reason.
So Kenny says one of those lines is known as the Asians, a people vastly different from us. So they're not the same. I'm sorry.
Vastly
Ood.
different.
Sorry, Ood.
Okay, whatever. That's fine.
They're not different. They're vastly different.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Vastly.
I was never wrong. See, they aren't different after all.
Yeah, they're vastly different.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Okay, so
what did we get on before that?
So the thing with the time loop, more on that, I'll say.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah. I don't think
people did point out the differences between the episode 1 scene where Eren wakes up with Mikasa and when it's reanimated in Mappa. So you could argue they're not reanimating it; they're literally showing you a different universe or whatever.
Yeah, it could be.
And
Yeah.
going along with that theory, when Eren is attacking
Or it just could be
Liberio-
Mappa style. You know, they wanted to do it a little
Yeah.
different.
Again, that
Well,
Just a
too.
different studio.
It's like the unspoken
Probably
thing
what
where I
it
think
is,
they
but-
wanted us to discuss it because they could have technically just replayed the same scene unless there's like a licensing issue there, but I don't know. The fact that they went out of their way to reanimate it is interesting too. Not only that, but like different angles and all sorts of things. Like there were subtle differences. It wasn't 1-to-1 for sure. I will say it's not just that. There's other scenes as well. Like when at the very final scene of season 4, before we get the specials, when Eren, we see the rumbling for the first time and he's attacking Marley, Liberio. He thinks back to the end of episode 1, season 1, where his mom's being eaten by the Titan, and he's like in different clothes or whatever. So people have made theories based on that he's getting memories from a literal different timeline that was slightly tweaked or different from the one.
See,
that
I
actually
don't.
happened.
I hate those kind of theories
Yeah.
because they have no basis and like we see this all the time with anime is that these things get tweaked with every anime. Like
Yeah.
there's
I mean, we
every
I
manga
remember
anime is on a 1v1.
No, we even did this. That brings us to this one. So even in the same episode, within 5 seconds, we pointed out how this Eren hits this guy, and then in the next scene, when the guy chases after him, he's in different clothing. It looks like like his shirt color, like sleeves change from really dark to really bright, and we're like, it can't just be the shadow. Like the way it changed was too much. Like, so even then, oh yeah, was that a different timeline in that scene? Probably not. Remember we saw the guy who looked like Zeke. That was funny.
But that's why everybody was like, "There's gonna be a new ending. There's gonna be a new ending." I'm like, "You guys are dumb. Shut
Because so many
up."
people were talking about it, so I thought there was something there, but it sounds like this time loop
No.
thing isn't actually canon or in the series at all. It's just like a fan conspiracy theory.
Yeah, that's
I
why I
don't
think
get
it's
the time
parallel
loop.
universes. And because too, like
Hmm.
I showed you Oodie, there's like this thing at the end of like the it's like a short story with all the characters, but in like another universe. They're like in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like it's about the characters going through high school, and there's like a weird cult or whatever. But whenever there's a scene in the original manga whenever Eren like is getting visions, like whenever he kisses Historia's hand and he's
Yeah.
seeing like everything that goes on in the future. There's a panel or like there's a picture of what goes on in that short story of them in high school, like modern day high school. And so like that's why I think it's parallel universes, you know?
It's
It could have been
literally
just like a
canon.
yeah, it's canon. It's canon. It's a parallel universe, okay? That short story is canon. So that's
I
how I see it. It's just a timeline that branches off the original one, you know?
I mean, personally, when it comes to the reanimated intro scene thing in the first special, I don't think it's anything but just a reanimated scene of that scene. Like
Yeah, I
it
mean,
because it's first of all, it's not in the manga. It doesn't relate to the next scene. Frankly, it was just randomly there. It was just cool. It was a callback. Like I think it was just movie style anime special stuff where they're just like, "Hey, remember this scene where it all began? Look where it is now." Like I think it
Mm,
was just showing us where we started, where we're at. Like
But that's the
because
thing with that. I
it
completely
doesn't seem
agree.
different.
I can't
Well,
imagine
well,
it
if
as
you think about
anything
it
more, but it should be.
in the cabin scene, you know, Mikasa does the same thing. Like, oh, like she wakes up from a dream and she's like, I feel like I should be somewhere else, and then she's crying. You know, it's like kind of the same thing that Aaron went through when he was like sitting at the base of the
Yeah, but
tree.
like in that case, though, we can definitely see it's a different scene. In this case, I think it's literally like I sure the contrast and saturation was slightly different. Okay, it's the same freaking scene with a slightly different composition. Okay, it's reanimated. It's like the Naruto reanimation. Okay, it's the same
Yeah.
scene. It's not a parallel universe when Naruto gets reanimated. It's just updated. Okay,
I completely agree. It's
that's all it
crazy
is.
how people took that theory and ran with it as much as they did, considering how much I've seen it. I'm sure all of you've seen it just as much as me. Um,
No, I haven't seen it because, but
so
I also haven't looked for it. But
that's fair enough. Yeah, but I will
I asked
say,
you to explain
Well,
the
and I
time loop.
also
yeah.
think it's parallel universes because, like, when Aaron says, like, I've changed the timeline so many times, like, I've tried to change it, but it always comes back around to the
Ooh,
same conclusion.
that's
If you're
interesting.
changing the
Maybe we should talk.
timeline,
Maybe we
there's
should talk about that for a second. So, um, Oodie and I talked about this the other day, and this is I agree with him, and I wanted to relate this a bit to the Grusha thing too. But there's a couple things on that. I don't think it's like okay. For example, Ramsey. um the little boy that Aaron saves when he's getting like beat up by like those old guys after he steals something from them.
Mhm.
So when Aaron says like so many times I tried to change like the outcome, I think the point is if there's something he sees, like when he saw visions of the future through the roundabout way he did. So he sees himself saving Ramsey. He tries to test not saving Ramsey. The problem is that's who like Aaron is Aaron, and Aaron wants to save Ramsey. Even if he thinks,
Exactly.
"Oh, I'm a hypocrite. I shouldn't save Ramsey." He does. He can't help it. It's Aaron. He wants to save that boy. He doesn't want to let him just get beat up. And
Yeah.
when Aaron says, like, I tried to test it, the point is the things that happen in the future will always happen because that's Aaron and it's his future. Like, Aaron can't just not do that because that's who Aaron is. I
I,
don't
I
think it's a matter of like him trying to change the time. Like he is in a way, but he can't help but follow it.
I kind of saw it as that like no matter how many times you try to change the timeline, if what you want in your heart is true freedom and to level everything, you know, like he says, then if that's what you truly want in your heart, then of course the outcome isn't going to change because
Yeah,
that's
he'll
what you
always
want.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, like, he's never
Yeah.
gonna go against what he wants at his core. He wants to do it so badly that he can't not do it.
The
Yeah.
way I was explaining it to Kamui when we called the other night was it's through the screenwriter want versus need, and I've explained that ad nauseum, so I don't need to re-explain that. But essentially, Eren wanted to change the timeline, but he needed to save Ramsey. Like, it's an intrinsic value that he had. He, at his core, that is who Eren is, like he was saying. So he couldn't just not do it because he essentially wanted that more than anything else in the world, kind of, in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he didn't want to do it because he wanted to change the future, he wanted to do it more than he didn't want to do it. So much so to the point that he couldn't stop himself from doing it. So me and Kamui were talking about this. I don't think that the future being set in stone is in the way that like the Ackermans are like instinctually driven to do it. Like, I don't think Eren's body was literally forced to do it, and he's like, "No, body, stop moving in this
Yeah,
direction."
yeah, I agree.
Because that
We
is
thought it'd
something
be
we've
funny,
talked
but
on. It'd be funny, but it's like I don't think that's the way it is.
yeah,
Like there's no
yeah, I agree with that.
gravitational pull sucking Eren to go beat up those guys in that alleyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
So
so
so yeah, like I mean, I do understand that, but like it could just like I don't know. I could see it as to that like maybe he did try to change things. Maybe the timeline did change a little bit because like in the OVA, it is a clear change in the timeline.
Okay, well,
And
I
and
understand that but
yeah.
I understand what you're saying with that completely. My only thing is that opening scene of the first anime special there doesn't feel like a different timeline. It's identical.
No, it's
It's
not
the same
supposed to be a
scene.
different timeline. It's supposed to be like let's go like how was it? It's like a it's just like a restart back to the beginning, I feel like. You know?
Yeah,
Like
that's what we're saying. It's not a time.
Yeah,
It's nothing.
as a Mikasa, let's say like she's in one part of the timeline, and she's like, okay, well let's go back here. You know, let's go back to this starting point, kind of thing.
I think it's really interesting if every time Eren tried to change the timeline, instead of actually changing it because he couldn't do that, every attempt he made that alternate branching universe. I think that there's already like a theory on that or something like that. Like every outcome that has two outcomes, a new universe branches every single time that happens anyways, is a theory. Like just
Hmm.
applying that to Attack on Titan, that's literally canon, is that theory. Is what we're
Yeah,
saying.
I mean, and like, and that's the way like it happens. I don't know if you guys have seen Steins Gate. It's a good anime, and you should watch it if you haven't seen it.
It's good.
But yeah,
I have
and
not, as you
yeah,
should know by now.
but that's the way it works in Steins Gate. You know, like
Yeah.
so yeah, it's pretty good.
It,
I
I never really got the impression that they created like in Avengers when they have like the new timeline when they change the past. For Attack on Titan, it just to me at least watching the anime was it
Oh,
just
and
happens the
another
way it
thing,
does.
I think people thought so hard that there was going. You guys just reminded me of this, and I was going to get the name of. Anyways, let me explain it. That people thought so hard that there was going to be an alternate ending is because there was this JRPG that Isayama said that he was really inspired by, and that AOT is kind of inspired by. Um, that kind of has like alternate timelines and like time loops. And so I think that's what people that's where people kind of like ran with it because
okay.
it is kind of similar to Attack on Titan in some ways.
Yeah.
Could I tell you the exact theory? No, because I watched the video about the JRPG 2 years ago. So I couldn't tell you, and I wish I had the video, but I can't find it. It was from such a small channel. I tried to find it, couldn't find it.
Something I'll have to say on this time loop theory that I'm actually kind of mad about. I'll have to go back and check out what people are saying because I was purposefully like avoiding whatever the
But
actual
but
details
I bet it's
were.
on Reddit
But
somewhere. So
yeah,
if you
yeah,
find
yeah.
it, you can probably find it on Reddit.
Yeah, I
I'm
asked you to
sure the
look
details are
for it, but
somewhere.
you
Well, yeah, I didn't want to like spoil myself on whatever it is, because I wanted all the reaction reveals here for the first time. But that if it is that's the theory. That's not a time loop. That's an alternate universe. Like, loop implies end goes back to the beginning. Nowhere at the end does it repeat anywhere or anything.
Yeah.
No.
See, and that's why I thought it was like an alternate universe, parallel universes. That's why I thought it was. I'm like, I don't know if it's a time loop, because that's what we were kind of talking about in Brittany Simon's server as well when we had our AOT discussion. Because we were trying to explain to her time loops, and I was like, I don't think it's time loops. I don't know,
Yeah, I was like, I don't get
But nobody else
You
could
made an
really
example
explain
of a
it
time
properly
loop.
either.
It's not a time loop at all.
Nobody else could really explain the theory either. So because it's hard.
I think some credence to that is the 2,000 years ago, 2,000 years to you in the future, that parallel between
Yeah.
the first title and like the title in like season
That doesn't
4.
apply to that episode.
No, I agree. It doesn't at all. But like that exists. There you go.
I mean, we pointed that out. We pointed that out when we watched the episode. It's cool, and I think
Yeah.
there's something in it that we made a joke about it being, but I don't.
And I think too because like there's constant time travel, and time travel is kind of confusing even in stories. So like so I think people kind of have trouble with that as well.
Because this time loop theory doesn't change anything in the story. The story is still what it is. It's just a fun little theory. I don't think it takes away anything, because it's not even necessarily canon. It's just like a fun thing to think about. Like, it doesn't change anything for me really, because it does not. It's not even like in the series. It's just like a fun thing to think about. Like, technically that could happen maybe, and that's like, oh, look at that, would explain this difference if you really wanted to be like in depth and look at the nitty gritty details. It's not necessary though. It's just for fun.
Yeah, like the whole alternate universe kind of like thing, like parallel universes. I mean, I do like that idea based on like the tree branches, with the paths, like very symbolic for alternate universes to me. And then you have like all the other kind of connected different pieces that Isayama has made. So like,
I'm confident a lot of people made this theory and especially ran with it, especially the alternate universe or alternate ending, all that sort of combined into one idea, because people just didn't like the ending.
Because okay, I'm gonna shit on like manga readers. It's
Mhm.
because all of you manga readers are elitist and need to get over yourselves, okay?
Okay.
Honestly, I guess that's a good time to just give our opinion on the ending.
Well, hang on, wait. I will say one more thing on the. Well, okay, so I think we all agree the future isn't set in stone in Attack on Titan. If a character really, really wanted to change the future, they could have.
Depends on context in some cases.
Yeah.
Because to give you an example, if Grisha hypothetically didn't give Eren the Attack Titan, or his Titan in general, because he just decided, I do not want to give it to this boy. If that happened, Eren would never be able to send Grisha future memories back to Grisha for Grisha to see the future to give him reason not to want to give Eren the Attack Titan. He would never not want to give him it unless Eren got it, for example. So in that case, it would be weird.
That's weird, but it also applies it's the second time it happens, so there's already a change in place. Because the first time it happens, that can't happen because it hasn't happened yet. If that makes sense. Like
you can be more specific what it is.
It can only happen because it's already happened, essentially.
Yeah, well, that's the point, is you're changing the future.
Yeah. So, like, well, me and Kamui were discussing this. So every memory Eren got, like saving Ramsey, those are things that he wasn't going to change anyways, because he would only see memories that are the most significant or important to him, in our opinion. So, like, for example, if Eren just didn't get that, if he got random memories, like, if he was like, oh, Saturday, April 29th at 4 p.m., I'm going to be sitting on that couch. If he instead, at, like, 3:59 p.m. that same day is like, you know what? I'm just going to keep standing just to prove that I can. He is changing the future in that sense.
Yeah, unless it was just part of his core values of sitting in that chair at that time. He needed to sit in that chair.
But, like, the point is that they can go against the choices, but these are choices that they wouldn't want to go against anyway, so the future doesn't change, even though it can.
Yeah,
I would say
I
so
think.
as well.
Yeah, like I think it's potentially possible for these choices to be different. Like even like with Ymir at the end, it's like I don't know if it's supposed to be an alternate timeline just for imagination or whatever, but like we see a visual of Ymir not saving King Fritz's life. Like she could have done that. It wasn't what she wanted to do at the time, but it was physically possible for her to not do that.
Yeah, and she should have, because she should have
She should have been
valued
throwing the
what
spear
was
at
in
that
front of
dude.
her. She should have valued her children, her family.
There's a reason I bring up the idea of changing the future, though, because like we all agree that the future can be changed in Attack on Titan. I don't think the past can be changed. And so we'll get to Grisha, because I already know that's where I'm going with that, Kamui, at the end. But first,
I wanted to discuss that too.
Yeah, first, I'll say Eren sent the Smiling Titan to his mom. I don't think he could have not done that. Like, if he didn't do that, the present doesn't exist. So hypothetically, if he chose not to do that, what would even happen? Is that even possible in the first place? And if it is, if he did do that, would they literally cease to exist and then a different timeline would form at that branching path? To where that first
I did
timeline
also
doesn't
hear
exist?
that from
Yeah.
somebody in the server, so like that could be possible because like it does sound kind of convincing. So yeah.
That one's different from the Grisha one in that, to some extent, it almost does seem like influencing the past because, none of that happens unless, founding Titan Eren does that.
Yeah.
That one's different from the Grisha one.
I have complaints about that scene, but we'll get to it later. Trippy, getting to the Grisha situation, because I know you made a video on the plot twist. Kamui had a different interpretation from what we have on how this plot twist even happened. So what do you think, or like, how do you think Eren manipulated Grisha in the first place?
Well, I don't know if we have a different interpretation or not.
No, I didn't watch that video. I didn't even know you made that video.
Ooh. What's your interpretation, Kamui?
Shout out, Trippy. You
for
can give
how
your
that
original,
scene
the one
played
that you
out.
didn't like, and then we'll give the one that we did like after.
I don't remember what I didn't like. I just have what I currently know happened.
Well, your original interpretation was that Eren was using his powers to look back in the past to manipulate Grisha in the past. No?
No, that's not what I meant. No, because okay, so let me just explain what happened and then explain how, like, for a brief. Okay, so I don't know how to do this anymore because I just know what happened. So, at one point, I think, okay, I'm gonna start with what happened and then what I originally was a little confused about at first before I actually thought about it and talked to you about it. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes way more sense. So, okay, what I originally thought was essentially Eren like manipulating the past, which would go to a back and forth paradox. But what really happened is Grisha just saw the future. He didn't see Eren there, like literally looking at Eren. What happened was at moments he saw future visions of Eren being there looking at Grisha. So like in that moment, he's not seeing the current Eren talk. He's seeing a future vision of when Eren will be talking to Grisha, if that makes sense. Yeah. That's why he only sees Zeke at moments, and then he doesn't see him anymore. It's like for a minute he sees a vision of Zeke in the future being there, but then he doesn't actually see him there.
He sees a future vision. So he's like a psychic, basically?
No, it's like the future memory of Eren is his future vision.
So essentially, it's saying that Season 4 Eren didn't go back to the past to communicate with Grisha in the present. Rather, Grisha in the present, through his powers, was seeing Eren in the future because he can see not only memories of the future, but also memories of other Titan holders. So what he sees is Eren's memory of this moment that's happening in real time.
Yes. Yes.
So I think
which makes way more sense, honestly.
That's so confusing.
I know.
No, but it makes more sense because then it completely eliminates the how could Eren have gone into that position without this moment issue. It's because Grisha in the present sees the future essentially, and that makes him do this in the present. But hypothetically speaking, like it's imagine like if Grisha just had a dream that Eren tells him it, and it's enough to convince him to do this. But hypothetically in the future, if Eren went against that future, like we're talking with the chair thing, if Eren just chose not to talk to Grisha, Grisha still would have seen that vision of Eren talking to him. He still would have slaughtered Frida's family and ate Frida, even if Eren didn't go on to actually do it. Eren just went on to actually do it because that's who Eren is. Eren was pissed off the fact that he's like, dude, these guys murdered your freaking sister, and you're not gonna slaughter them. Like he was actually pissed. That was Eren being Eren. That's why he did it. But if he hypothetically didn't do it, the future would have mostly been the same. Like Eren still would have got that power.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Kamui, because I think this is where the misinterpretation started. This is why I linked these two scenes specifically. So Eren used the founding Titan power to go back in time and change the Smiling Titan to go after his mom. He did that. Whereas the difference is Grisha is using the Attack Titan's power to see the future.
Yes.
So it's a different person and a different Titan power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Grisha isn't necessarily seeing Eren. Grisha is seeing Eren's memories looking at Grisha.
Yeah,
in
of
the
what
moment.
he's telling him. And he hears
pretty
Eren's words still. But like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of complicated, but yeah.
Yeah. It's more complicated
so
because
good.
technically it's not a memory because it's happening in real time, but I guess in the way it's a present memory.
Like the reason why they chose memory as the word is because, for example, when Eren sees Grisha's literal memories of the past, Grisha is seeing Eren's what will be Eren's literal
Future
memories in the future.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well, with that said,
it's like the same ability but reversed.
With that said, we're following it from Eren's perspective. So as Eren sees the memories, looking at the past, we get to see when Grisha sees those memories in the future. But if we were following Grisha, he's just gonna see those future memories regardless of what period of time Eren is in at that moment in that present.
Yeah. And those words were enough to affect him. And that also would explain why Eren was able to see his own future, like in season 3. It's because he sees Grisha's memories. Well, what do Grisha's memories include? Eren's future memories. That's why Eren knows what he's going to do. And so it works better this way. But at first, like I said, I was like, oh, this is like a paradox because Eren went back in time and changed things. But that's not actually what happened, in a way.
Yes.
Which is a little bit different from the Smiling Titan thing, though, because that has nothing to do with Attack Titan Future Sight. It's like literally Founding Titan Eren exists in the present and the past and the future at the same time, and he just changed it.
Whereas it sounds complicated, I think once you get the idea, it's kind of simple to understand, maybe.
Yeah, that's how it worked for me. At first, I once I understood it, I'm like, oh, it makes way more sense, actually.
Okay. So I guess moving away from that, we have general thoughts that we wanted to get into before.
Oh, I said we never really got into the whole Smiling Titan part.
I feel like there was also another thing I wanted to say on this as well. We can get to the Smiling Titan later. But
okay.
Oh, really quick. I guess I also wanted to include, since we talked about this really briefly. So in season 2, at the end of season 2, do you think future Eren sent the Smiling Titan to Eren to go eat Hannes and to go have Eren punch him? Or do you think that was complete coincidence and that Smiling Titan just so happened to appear at that time? Perfect situation. Or do you think Eren did that on purpose? Even though we never got it, it was never told or stated. It's not even implied necessarily, but it makes sense either way. It makes more sense if Eren did it because it's a big coincidence. Of all the Titans, it's that one, and that Titan just so happens to eat Hannes and then have Eren punch it. Like, that's a very big coincidence, but it's still possible.
I say that's
Both
definitely a
make sense.
possibility. Yeah.
But what do you think?
Both could easily work.
Yeah. Like, what's your headcanon here?
Well, I want to believe that Eren sent it. That's just cooler.
Yeah, it is just cooler.
I mean, I have arguments for and against it for like whether I like it. Because on one hand, okay, the Grisha thing I really like because it's different, but in this case, it's like you get into that paradox of, well, if Eren didn't do it, how did he get into that situation to begin with? Like, if the only reason this is happening is because Eren, coming back to like all right, we'll just use this one. If the only reason Eren, figures out the Founding Titan's powers and he gets driven to move forward because Hannes dies and so on, is because the Smiling Titan shows up, and that's the only reason he eventually goes on to get what he gets later on, it would be like, okay, you get in this weird paradox of he didn't need to do that then if he was going to get there anyway. But on the other hand, it's also kind of like it fits in line with what he did with the mom, and so it's like, oh yeah, I did it here too. Like,
Okay. So for me, I have 5 thoughts going into this finale that I wrote down.
well, Camcam never answered the question.
Okay, sorry.
Answered what question?
Cool, never mind.
There you go. All right, see, I'm not the bad guy.
About the Smiling Titan? What?
You think Eren sent it or not?
Oh yeah. I mean, no, I don't think so.
Okay. This
Yeah.
is a complete side note. I'm sure we're all going to agree. Do you think Eren or Ymir made the Titans look the way they look? Like, do you think Eren was like, you know what? Dinah, she's going to be smiling. Like,
so happy.
who made Dinah's Titan smile? Or was it just fate, coincidence, whatever?
And if you think Ymir did it, why does she do Gabby as dirty as she did?
That's a different topic.
And she really liked John, so she's like, John, I'm gonna give him the sexiest Titan.
Oh my God.
Oodie, you gotta show him like the final scene with Gabby, John, and Connie. You were looking at that, dude.
It's gonna be a whole tier list.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think like Ymir had to have made the idea of what they would look like because she's the one building them.
Yeah.
Unless you want to say like hypothetically like Porco wanted his to look the way it did, and so Ymir modeled it after Porco's will or something. But
I don't know. I think probably the Titans look as foul as they do is just because like Titans are supposed to represent like the ugliness.
Well, we're looking in universe,
so...
not out of universe.
Yeah.
You mean in universe, not out of universe?
Well, because we know why the author.
Like, out of universe is what Isayama is going for. Yeah, let's make the Titans scary and foul.
Yeah. But
in universe, why would Ymir or whoever want them to look the way they do?
Okay. I don't know.
Well, that's what we're asking.
Is it just silly? I don't know. Like,
Exactly.
like I said, it's just like
it is silly.
Like,
That's the point.
These technical things. I'm like, whatever.
I would say I think it's possible that Ymir tried to make them look normal. That's why they look like 90% human anyways. It's really just the uncanny valley. Ymir just sucks at art, you could say. I mean, to be fair, she's sculpting giant humanoid looking things out of sand. Like, she doesn't have a ladder. Like, how does she even crawl up without destroying it? Like, I don't blame her
with
for
the
having
more
it look
sand.
Yeah, like, she's just
to
a
be fair,
frail,
though,
weak girl anyways.
Well, to be fair, though, she was really good at sculpting Zeke's body back together, so she can be good at art. Maybe the size is what matters. When it gets to the colossal time, she's like, I give up on trying to make this perfect. Like this is too big.
Do you think Ymir does the hardening, or is that completely separate?
Does she hardens the sand?
I don't know. Like, did
Like,
Ymir build the walls, or just the Titans around the walls? It's implied the Titans around the wall, based on what you see in the paths. I think. Could be wrong.
It'd be fun if she builds the wall, too. I mean, it's kind of implied, though, that, like, everything's done through Ymir, though. So, like, maybe she does just harden it, like...
Possible. Camcam, thoughts? No thoughts? Don't care? Maybe?
No.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough. Okay. Then, similar but different question. I forgot it. Give me a second. Right, okay. So, we know some Titans, except for the Car Titan, have like a limited amount of transformations, kind of, especially at the beginning. Like EREN had to work up to get to like 2 or 3 transformations, but like the first time he did it in season 1, like after Trost, not after Trost, but like in the middle of Trost, when like the redheaded guy that Kamui thought was the Beast Titan, when he was about to like launch the cannonball at him.
I didn't say I thought he was the Beast Titan. I said he looks just like him.
The point
Okay,
is for us
he does to this day. He looks just like the Beast Titan.
Constructs of language for understandment of knowledge of communication words. Okay, so the guy that Kamui thought was
That
the Beast
made no
Titan, that guy.
sense.
So that guy. The guy that Kamui
Why did I
said was the Beast
understand him?
Titan. Yeah, that guy.
The guy who looks like the Beast Titan. Just say that.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that one.
Because he does. Just stand by it.
Yeah, the one that Kamui said is the Beast Titan. Okay, that guy.
No.
Okay, getting to the point. EREN transformation. I don't think Ymir was like, you know what? I'm only gonna build it halfway this time. Like there is some sort of fatigue thing going on here. I don't know why or
yeah,
what.
like they can't even activate it when they're too fatigued.
So I think there is to some degree Ymir isn't always in control. Like the end of season 2, EREN couldn't do it because he's out of stamina. He hasn't healed all the way yet. He was telling Ymir essentially, like commanding her, build me another Titan. She was essentially refusing to cooperate. I don't think that's actually the case. I think she just couldn't for whatever reason. It's
yeah,
like
EREN's sand, like EREN didn't have enough sand, you could say, like to build it.
Maybe like his connection is weakest when he's damaged or out of stamina, and he needs the mental stamina to do that, which is where the mental fortitude also comes into play with healing as well.
Maybe.
Because
like he just lacks energy in general.
Because it'd be weird for Ymir just to be like favoring the cart Titan. You know what? I'm gonna just do this one unlimited times.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be like an energy efficiency thing. Like you just don't have the energy to do it. Like no matter how you slice it, like you just can't.
Camcam, thoughts? No thoughts? Don't care? Care? Maybe?
Do I have any thoughts? No, not really.
Okay.
Trippy?
My bad. I was doing something. So it was about the. Actually, okay.
Or like when
It was
EREN
about the
picks up the
fatigue.
spoon.
Yeah, so like
Not really that,
like
because
when
he's not really demanding the spoon to Ymir, but like he has the drive to do it, so he transforms. But like the cannonball, he absolutely was trying to turn into a Titan there, but he just didn't have the stamina to turn all the way for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But like he was commanding Ymir to do it, so why didn't Ymir do it, or could she not, or like what happened there?
Maybe she just didn't want to. She just...
That's possible. I kind of like that interpretation, actually.
I don't think so. I don't think that fits her character.
I agree.
Oh, I didn't want to. The whole problem is,
yet, but at the same time, she wasn't free when she wanted MIKAKA to do something, or when she chose EREN 2,000 years in the future.
We're gonna get to that later. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
On a side note, I can't believe how many things we talked about that first episode that I forgot. Is there really nothing else you can remember either? We had 4 hours on that. Like, what else did we talk about?
I mean, we watched episode 1, so there's only technically 3.5 hours.
Okay, true.
We were comparing a lot of scenes in the manga as well. We spent a lot of time on that time loop thing, as well as the birds. We pointed out the guy that that changed clothes.
Oh, ARMIN. Yeah, we were. Oh, Hanji was in that scene. Or we were pausing to look at all these random things to feel that. It was a lot. That's all I know.
Yeah, we were questioning was it burns or bruises or blood? We just didn't know. Yeah, I wrote down something.
We did talk a bit. We did talk about the whole smiling Titan. Oh, we talked about Bertolt ducking. When Bertolt was kicking through, we talked about the wall. Okay, we talked about the EREN sending his mom over there thing, which we can come back to later. I guess, yeah. I guess a lot of it's stuff that we're just going to come back to.
Okay, but I wrote down, again, 5 thoughts here that I wrote down in relation to that call as well. So for me, the pending questions I have are, 1, at what point, and these are all in reference to, at what point did blank happen. So at what point did EREN realize changing the future wasn't possible, and he just gave up on trying? Or did he ever
I think after Ramsey.
after Ramsey? Okay. So do you think after that point he gave up on trying, or do you think he always kept trying?
It's tough to say because we weren't shown the other attempts. He says so many times I tried it,
Yeah.
which implies like
I
he's
thought it
probably
was
tried it more than once.
after.
But
Go ahead.
I mean, I mean, it could go either way. That could have been the first time he tried it when he says like, "Oh, I saw that in my memories. Let me," and then it happens. That it could also be the last one. I mean, it could go either way. I don't know. That's just the important one.
I thought it was like whenever they kind of went into the meeting when they got into Marley, and they were like, "Oh, we should like get rid of the Eldians and like arm Marley." Da da da. Remember?
And that's when Eren left, and they didn't see him for like 3 months
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's when he kind of like gave
Oh,
up.
that could work.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Because doesn't Willie Tybur? I don't know if he saw a memory of Willie Tybur saying something, but Willie Tybur said something that like really caught his eye, like, "Oh, I was born to this world" or whatever.
Yeah, he did
Mhm.
reminisce with that. Really struck his chord. Just really cool. I love that
Yeah,
part.
I do too. That's good. It was a good arc.
Okay. So number
I loved hearing Willie Tybur speak because it was like Kakashi, you know?
literally same voice actor, so yeah.
Yeah, literally the same voice actor. Yes.
Also, Pain Part 1 of Naruto.
Yep.
That's Willie
That's true.
Tybur, the Akatsuki.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So next thing, and this is something we talked about, Kamui. So at what point did Armin forsake his philosophy? Kamui, I'll let you explain what Armin's philosophy is.
What is Armin's philosophy?
Yeah, so in
Kamui?
episode 1, no, God, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, when Armin's getting beat up, which I like the scene by the way, but Armin was getting beat up, and like he's like telling him like like you're just an idiot. That's why you're fighting me. I've already won or whatever. And then I think Eren asked him like, is it your philosophy to not fight back or something? I can't
No,
remember
he
word
doesn't.
for word
No.
what happened, but anyway.
Armin is the one that brings up philosophy. Armin's like, it's my philosophy not to fight back. I forget exactly what he
He's
said.
the one who said, okay. Yeah, it's his philosophy to not fight back.
The point is, it's a freaking philosophy. He has a philosophy on it, so it's a strong thing.
And don't you mean it's a part of his value system?
Literally, exactly. So it's not that Armin's a scared little kid, timid, or any of this other stuff. His philosophy is literally peace or whatever. So going into the finale, yeah, but going into the finale, he says to Eren that he's always seen other people as like bad or whatever, and that he's gonna go to hell with Eren. And so that just completely, in my opinion, goes against his entire character, essentially. I do have an explanation for this, but go ahead.
Okay, but remember how he says too, like, you have to give up something in order to like win or something like that. Like he said that a couple times, and then like
to defeat monsters, you have to lose your humanity, I think is what he said.
Yes. And then he's also said, in that scene where they're kind of discussing like I'm gonna go to hell with you too. The reason he says that is because he feels guilty that he had to kill so many people, like he had to kill his friends, in the survey corps, and that he does feel guilty about that as well. And he also feels guilty, I think, for like he because he like taught Eren about the outside world. So I think he also feels guilty about that, which I'm like, I don't know, dude, you should feel guilty about that, but that's your own thing. And so yeah, he just has a lot of guilt over those things. So like he did kind of throw away some of his values in order to win, basically, in order to fight in this world.
I will also say Armin does consistently try to be like he is the guy who's consistently like, hey, let's talk it out instead of fighting over and over again throughout the story.
Yeah. And but
So,
but he's also the character too that openly lies, like with Bertold, like he's like, "Oh, we're torturing Annie," da da da. So like he does lie too. So he does
yeah, I mean, he lied to
flip-flop.
Eren a couple times
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so he does flip flop on his values, but like that's kind of like a part of Attack on
Well, I
Titan.
don't think that's necessarily in terms of like not fighting. I don't think lying goes against that, especially if the lie is to prevent fighting. That's a different value, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the episode pulled up. I think Kamui had a different translation than mine. I'll share my screen for what he says, and hopefully it won't get copyright. I just looked at it all
On
online,
which
but
which scene? The episode 1
the
or the
ARMIN,
finale?
yeah, the episode 1. So I'll do this. Okay.
We watched in the dubbed, so
So the bullies say, that's true as well. The bullies say in the sub, if you don't like it, why don't you fight back? Armin says, as if I'd ever do that. So that's not even like for question. So this might be the philosophy line. As if I'd ever do that. So he
yeah,
will
I think he
never
says in
fight
the
back.
dub, like, it's my philosophy to not fight back instead of as if I'd ever do that.
Yeah. So look at his face as well. He's determined. He's not scared here at all. He's got fierce resolve. You're only resorting to physical abuse because you can't prove that I'm wrong, which is crazy to say to people that are currently beating you up. And again, in the dub, he's like, you guys are idiots. Like, I've already won. Doesn't that mean you?
Yeah, dude, I loved this. I loved it. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, and then
I've
Mikasa
already
and them show
won.
up, and yeah, okay. But again, so his philosophy, if we're going based on the sub and comparing to the dub, as if I'd ever do that, in reference to, if you don't like it, why don't you fight back? Okay, so he didn't like the rumbling, but he did fight back, so he forsook his philosophy from episode 1. At which point do we think he forsook his philosophy? This is clearly for something.
You know, when he says you have to become a monster.
Okay.
To save humanity, you know, like at that point, I think it's very early on in season 1 that he says that. So yeah.
Kamui or Trippy, what do you guys think?
I mean, I agree.
Well, I mean, I can let Trippy go first, but
I just agree with Camcam.
Yeah.
I think the latest point then would be season 3 versus Bertolt. That's when like it's talking to Bertolt doesn't work. He realizes it. You know, for a minute he's like, "Oh, I tried to talk, it didn't work." Blah blah blah. John, you take over. Then he starts to take over, but he's actively fighting Bertolt by that point. In season 4, he doesn't want to, but he does bomb the freaking harbor and kill a lot of people. So even though he doesn't want to fight back in season 4 or end of season 3, he does do it. Earlier on, he's mostly just like fighting pure Titans. He doesn't like, he's not really the active fighter against like Rhina and Bertolt in season 2 and stuff, nor is he the active fighter against Annie. Like, he's trying to talk to her, for example. Annie cuts to the chase and transforms though. So I think if you're gonna go, you can obviously argue like season 1, okay, yeah, he's down to fight. But I think if you're gonna stretch it, season 3 would be the latest.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm gonna agree with Camcam too, even though I love your idea of that's the latest it can happen. So I think that range exists, but I do think Camcam's answer is technically more likely, I guess. But I still like your answer. It's not that Camcam's answer is confirmed, it's just that I think I would go with her answer over yours. But again, like yours is saying,
yeah, because he's
anyway, so
actively fighting. Yeah, in some degree, he's fighting the Titans back. Okay. So
I will say, regardless of when he does forsake this philosophy, because he absolutely 100% does, regardless of what I'm about to say next. But I do think the best way of interpreting the finale scene, where Eren's talking to Armin, and Armin's like, "I'm gonna go to hell with you." I don't think, based on his character, he actually means that. So what Armin does, I was explaining this to Kamui. Armin, again, he uses his words a lot in irrational situations rationally. He thinks things logically, and then he says what's best, what's most efficient to get his enemy to essentially listen. Like, he hits him where it hurts in terms of the words. Like, for example, in season 2, near the end, he tells Bertolt, it's a lie. He tells Bertolt that Annie's being tortured, etc., etc. And that's clearly a lie. And Armin does this type of concept multiple times with many different enemies. So it's a very consistent thing he does. In that
even
case,
his ally.
Yeah, so exactly. In that case, it's a negative thing where he does it against his enemies. He's harnessing or manipulating this against them. harnessing these words as weapons, essentially. In this case, I think that subverts this expectations to where he's doing this, like you were saying, to provide relief or comfort to his friend. So you could argue this is for the first time in his life. He's using these words for positive reasons. Because when he does
I
it
wouldn't
with
say
his
that
comrades as
because
well, it's still a
season
lie,
3 he does the same thing with like when he's promising Eren like, hey, we're gonna go to the sea together when he had full intentions of dying, and he basically just tricked Eren into going along with the plan.
But again, I see that I see where the positivity is there, but you can also see where the negativity is there as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, yeah, and that was more of a gray area, but either way, the point is, Armin in character does do things like that, and in the manga, I have seen this part of the manga. I've seen the whole episode in the manga, but it is different in the manga. He doesn't say like we're gonna go to hell together. It's just thank you for slaughtering humanity for our sake, which doesn't imply he thinks he's going to hell with Eren. It's just like, hey, you know what, Eren? Thank you. You can rest easy now. Like it's a different. It's not as sweet in a way, but like because of that, yeah, I don't think Armin necessarily believes he is even going to hell. Maybe he does, but because he does have guilt over like.
He does have.
I mean, he does have guilt
no.
over certain things, but
also he has guilt. But he's also a very logical character. I will say in this moment he's also being logical. I'm sorry, Cam. I'll let you say what you wanted to say in just a second. I will say Eren is being emotional, and Armin realizes that. And he also uses that to his advantage as well by finding the shell underneath him. Is like, oh, you've always been looking ahead, but I've been looking right here, and this is what's beautiful. In a way, he's kind of manipulating or like using the words that he's always been using. That's like his strength. That's why he's strong. Why he's commander. All these other things. Why so many people respect him.
Yeah, his words are his strength.
So, but Eren is questioning whether or not there even is a hell. Armin, the logical one, not the emotional one here, doesn't even do that. But like Armin, from what we know of him at least, shouldn't necessarily be religious or whatever. But he's essentially comforting Eren, confirming, yeah, there's a hell, and you know what? We're gonna go there together because we're friends. Armin might not even consider himself a friend right now. Eren, he obviously does. But like there's the interpretation out there that it's possible at least that he wouldn't, based on what he's doing. But he's saying this just for like Eren's comfort or whatever, which at least could possibly even stop Eren. But that's the way I interpret that scene as being best. He's just doing the same thing he's always done, essentially just lying to Eren, because I don't think he actually believes this himself, because it doesn't go or align with Armin's character, in my opinion.
He doesn't believe what? Sorry.
That he's always.
Well, what does he not believe?
That he's always essentially wanted to trample humanity as well, even though he's never really expressed those thoughts or whatever, and that he belongs in hell along with Eren because he thinks he's responsible for the rumbling. Because I don't think he thinks he's responsible for the rumbling at all.
He thinks he's like responsible for like
Eren
making Eren the way he is, kind of.
I disagree.
Like he's the one that introduced Eren to like the outside world. So like if he thinks that like if I never introduced him to the outside world, that there was this possibility, then like maybe this wouldn't have happened. And like, well, I'm like, bro, that's not your problem. Like that's Eren's problem.
Exactly.
It's like,
and I think
that's not your
Armin
fault.
would know that as well. I don't think Armin thinks that necessarily, because that's just Eren's character. That's Eren's nature.
Yeah,
Eren still want to break out of the cage.
High stress situation, you know, that like maybe he could, and but I think he does feel guilty about the amount of slaughter and the like we do see they are both in a sea of blood. So I think that also represents the guilt Armin has felt with all the blood he has shed himself.
I think that was a representation of Eren.
But here's here's one thing I will say though,
because Armin also shares the guilt and he says it as well.
Yes,
you know?
but
So
Eren
both of them
picks up that like hair and blood, whereas Armin still, even in the bloody sea, picks up the conch, the beautiful conch from the sea.
I will also say though, like, you know, to like Oodie saying that I don't think Oodie's saying like I don't think Armin actually wanted to slaughter humanity. And there is reason to suggest that, given that like 2 minutes prior he was just saying like, Eren, there has to be a better way. You don't have to do this. Like,
yeah, and I never said Armin wanted to do anything.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just saying there's definitely reason to suggest he doesn't want to do that. But feeling some sort of guilt, I mean, depends on what level, really. then it's a scale, you could say, is he 10% guilty or is he 100% guilty? Probably not 100% guilty, but there's probably some level of guilt, like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't have shown you that book or something. But
again, because we understand that ARMIN operates extremely rationally, even in extreme situations. This is his strength. This is what makes ARMIN strong. I don't think he was feeling that. He may feel guilty or remorse, or at least sad, over his comrade's death and the fact that this all happened. But I don't think he's taking any responsibility himself, even if he says he does. Because again, in episode 1, there's no reason for him to lie to these bullies. This is essentially him speaking his mind in this scene. So we know this is ARMIN's true character, which in my opinion contradicts what he's saying in the finale. Because it's not just that he doesn't want to do it, I don't think he actually thinks it, which is what he says. He essentially tells EREN that even though like no one else knows it because I've never expressed it, I've never expressed wanting to do anything, I've always thought this way. I don't believe him. Yeah. I don't think he has always thought this way. I don't think he's...
Yeah, he'd be saying like, yeah, I've just been lying my whole life.
Exactly.
Otherwise.
But I don't think that's the case.
I don't think so either, because like it goes against, like I said, ARMIN's been the one who's constantly been trying to talk things out instead of fighting things out. And it's like, you see he's lying that whole time. No, I think ARMIN genuinely wanted to talk things out rather than fight things out.
Yeah, but like I said, if we do see ARMIN feel guilty, we do see him constantly talking about in the 4th season how guilty he feels. You know,
we're talking about 2 different things, though, to be honest.
Okay. Well,
that's why we're going in circles.
Yeah, so I don't feel like he's lying is my point. I don't feel like he's lying to EREN, that like he's going to hell with him, because ARMIN has his own sense.
No, again, ARMIN probably feels bad, like he had to nuke the people at Liberio.
Yeah.
But again...
So like, why would he lie? Like, he has his own sense. So like, of course he's going to go to hell with EREN.
But that's not in relation to EREN. Or really his own thoughts, I should say. Like, that's sort of different.
He kind of... Because ARMIN implies the reason he's going to hell isn't because he nuked the Liberio port. It's because he wanted this rumbling massacre too, and he helped EREN get there. And because of that, even though he wasn't the one who activated it, he rightfully was a main instigator, and he belongs in hell with EREN, basically. That's what he's telling EREN.
It's not about...
Like, I helped you do this because I want to do it too.
It's not about what he actually did, it's about what he wanted. Like, after he first killed someone in Season 3, he threw up. He clearly didn't like it. He obviously didn't like when he nuked the people in Liberio. He's recognized, and he's always noticed, that EREN is always running ahead of them and growing farther and farther apart. He's always known this. So I don't think he blames himself for that. If anything, he's the one trying to hold them together the entire time. So I don't think he has these thoughts, based on everything we've seen.
There's also the scene of when this is right before EREN shows up and tells, Mikasa the headache thing. He's talking to Gabby, and she's like, well, don't you want to kill me to get revenge? He's like, why would I want that? It's like, you're like, all you ever think about is killing, just like someone else I know. It clearly referenced to EREN. Like, clearly he's not supporting them.
Yeah, so just with all this, I don't think he's always thought this at all.
I didn't get, like, from that scene, I didn't get that, oh, he wanted the rumbling too. I don't know. I just didn't pull that from that scene, I guess.
Well, that's what he's saying, but we don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's saying that at all.
For the benefit of the doubt, we know he didn't want the full rumbling, but he did want the partial rumbling because he essentially had to. I mean, I don't really blame him. He just wanted like the 50 years of peace or whatever. If they took out Liberio, the fleet there or whatever. Because if he didn't want any rumbling at all, they're just all gonna die. It's like, it's understandable that he wanted the partial rumbling, but I don't think he wanted the full rumbling. But I don't blame him for wanting the partial rumbling.
That's most of the characters.
And I don't think he feels guilty for wanting the partial rumbling either. Because it's just self-defense at that point.
Yeah.
That's
why nobody was like critical
of him, because he doesn't like to kill, obviously. Like,
well, the point he went back on that.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't like.
He discarded that philosophy.
I guess. I don't necessarily know what that. Like, he still kills, but he doesn't want to kill. Like in Season 3, he threw up after he killed someone. He didn't want to kill them, but he had to kill them, essentially. In the same way, he has to do the partial rumbling, and he knows that. He doesn't want those people to die, but he doesn't really have any other choice. This is the way that leads to the least deaths, is the partial rumbling in his mind.
Okay.
Trippy, what do you think? Is ARMIN going to hell?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you think he lied, or do you think he actually wanted the rumbling or all that?
No, I don't think he wanted the rumble. I don't think he wanted the rumbling that they got. I think the partial rumbling was definitely his mindset.
I think he just felt the partial was necessary. He didn't like want it, but it was like, okay, we have to do that much.
I mean, yeah, he probably didn't want. None of them probably wanted anything to happen.
Anything to rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if they had a choice, they would just choose peace, but they don't have that choice.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
he's not looking at the partial rumbling in a guilty way. It's not like, oh man, I hate the fact that I have to kill these people with the partial rumbling, but I guess
Like, oh man.
oh man. Like obviously technically he feels that way, but like realistically he knows he doesn't have a choice, so he doesn't feel that way. Because again, he's not an emotional person really. He is a very logic driven person, especially in extreme situations. So I don't think he feels bad about partial rumbling.
No, yeah, it's a self-defense thing. I think he's fine with it.
Okay. Okay. Number 3. At what point did EREN, you're gonna hate this, decide he loves Mikasa? Because I freaking don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm probably missing something, Camcam. I really hope that later on you'll be able to help explain this to me.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think he always did.
I don't like, honestly, I don't think he always did either. And like who would have known, because like he never really well, you have people you have people on Twitter who are like, look, he looked at her this way in the manga. I'm like, Aaron looks at people like that all the fucking time. And then like, look, he protected her in this situation. Aaron, of course he protected her because that's his friend. Aaron, like, duh, Aaron protects his friends. Or like, oh, look at the way he talked to her in this situation. Okay, and like, it's just not convincing enough to show that he loves her.
There is a scene of him blushing like towards her when they're on that, like the one that we saw in the Connie video, like in that scene. You could use that, I guess, but
I'll say what Camcam's saying, it's almost as crazy as the crazy people who were saying that Bertolt looked sus in season 1. Can't believe anyone was actually saying that. Right, Kamui? What do you think about that?
No, I did not. I don't.
Bertolt was specifically season 2, especially, but yeah, Bertolt, Oodie, we were showing you the manga panels of like Bertolt sweating over where he's from. Okay, it sucks.
Okay, that was just a jab. I'll admit it. So something else I did actually want to say on that. I do think people say that about Sasuke in part 1 with Sakura, but I think there's actually something there. There is credence there, to where
there is,
Sasuke
especially in the manga.
Is thinking, yeah, especially in the manga. Sasuke is thinking about Sakura a pretty good amount, like especially like in the tuning exams, and like up to that point.
Yeah, but that's the case because like she literally snaps him back into reality. She's like, please stop, whenever he's like. And like the
we're not just talking about that scene.
Yeah, I'm talking about before the written exams even.
Really?
It was before the tuning exams in general.
Even.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes if you go back. They're really subtle, but I think it actually is something there. Rather than
then like, well, I'm thinking about like the written one where he acknowledges like how smart she is, and like and like how he jumps in front of her to protect her, like, okay. But people point out the scene with Eren and Mikasa when like, they're kind of holding a trial against Eren in the beginning when he first transforms, and they're like, oh, maybe we should dissect Mikasa too. Maybe she's a Titan too. And he's like, you can do whatever you want to me, but don't hurt Mikasa, Which I'm like, maybe he would be that way to Armin, but like to me that doesn't. But to me that doesn't show like actual like love.
This is gonna sound so silly. I'm gonna compare this.
Your point is that
the Penguins of Madagascar TV series.
Stop.
So in that series, people said that Skipper and Eileen were essentially a couple. So Skipper X.
No, you're not gonna pull that up. Stop. No. No.
Whatever it is.
No.
This, or Marley.
I don't want to see.
This.
I'm gonna get a snack while you show this. Okay.
But
Skipper and
because
Marley.
there's like 4 or 5 scenes where Skipper's like, "Oh, don't harm her," or Skipper looks in her direction. But they're clearly just friends, and Skipper would say that about literally anyone. But for some reason, as you can tell, the audience really just took this and ran with it as if it was some pairing, like it existed the whole time, when it never really did.
And like, look, I love ships as much as the next person. I love a good ship. Naruto and Sasuke are a couple in my eyes. They're, they're not.
I
They're
think
not
there's
homies.
more hints of Mikasa and freaking Eren than Naruto and Sasuke being romantic. Okay.
No,
Stop your
there's
nonsense.
not. Okay, they.
Yes, there is.
Look,
Naruto never blushes at
Naruto and
Sasuke.
Sasuke actually kiss.
Oh my god.
Not
Eren and Mikasa
intentionally.
don't kiss.
Will they do at the end?
Yeah.
When he's dead. What do you mean?
And you know what?
No, your
At
brain
least
still has
one of them was
activity
happy
few
when Naruto and
seconds
Sasuke
after.
did it. Neither of them were happy about it.
How long
Like,
is your brain active after death? Someone should know this. Eren felt that.
Yeah, like
Did-
Camcam.
did
If I
Eren get
kissed
to
you,
feel
I
it?
would hate my life and feel disgusted. So why is it different when Naruto does it?
What?
You know what? I'm glad you didn't hear me. Never mind. We're moving on.
Okay.
No, I just heard screeching. I didn't hear anything else. It's like the words were just like not audible to me.
Good. Okay.
That's probably for the best.
If it had to do with anything with kissing and like you, like I don't want to hear those 2 words in like the same sentence. Like
Well,
so
those words were involved.
gross. Don't make me puke in my mouth, please.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
You
at
see
least the
Oodie
feeling's
feel the same
mutual,
way.
just like it was for Naruto and
Yeah.
Sasuke.
Getting
No,
back
I
to
would
the
literally
question
actually
at
puke.
hand, at what point did Eren
I would
decide
murder.
he loves Mikasa? I think in season 2, at
Well-
the end of it, he still doesn't because Mikasa literally wants to kiss him, and he's like, no. He just doesn't.
Well, he
Because,
didn't do
he
that.
puts the mission over himself, you know?
It's not.
He
over
didn't say
her,
no,
over her.
but,
Okay, but
he
come
didn't go
on.
like, "No, I don't want to kiss you."
The
but
point-
No,
okay,
no,
I
okay,
think
he
that's-
totally dodged the kiss. He just closed his eyes and went, whoop.
The
That was-
point, though,
well,
is that it's especially a thing in Japanese when a girl confesses their feelings for you. It's considered like almost rude to deny them or not even give them the time of day. Like that's a situation.
It's rude in America. What do you mean? It's rude
It is
everywhere.
kinda rude
Okay, but
everywhere.
Oh my god, if I
Japanese-
confess my feelings
my
to
God.
to a dude, if I confess my feelings to a bro and he's just like, can I like give you a reply in like 5 hours? I'd be like,
but it's
okay,
okay
never
for a
mind.
girl to do that.
The
No,
point
okay, if a girl
is-
does it too, like
Yeah,
no,
it's
like it's the
everywhere.
same thing.
But just like, okay, there's respect over here, there's respect in Japan. It's the same thing. Even though Japan very clearly values respect in a much higher degree. Like, it's more of an event over there. Yes, it's everywhere, but it's way, way more emphasized over there. That's the point I'm trying to get at. So, bringing that into the context of Attack on Titan, a Japanese series, Mikasa in this scene, the point is that she's confessing her feelings at this moment for Eren. And Eren doesn't accept them. That is a much bigger thing in Japan than it is over here. Like, it's a whatever scene for us. Like, oh, he's just valuing the mission over whatever. The focus of that scene is on the confession and Eren's answer. It is important. So that's the very minimum I would say he doesn't love her, is at least at that point. I
Yeah, like
agree-
if you,
yeah.
I would say that's like the earliest one where you could say he does in a weird way. Otherwise, I would just go to the scene when he was blushing,
Yeah.
like they were blushing at each other.
Oh, he blushed.
Like that's the one I would really pick. If I have to pick.
Well, I would say
I
because
think men will blush at any girl. Ugh.
That's definitely not
Sorry.
true.
but
Sorry.
One
Okay,
eight girls I
a
would not blush
hormonal,
at.
like 15, 14-year-old boy, like come on.
I was the pickiest 15-year-old boy you'll ever meet. Definitely wouldn't apply to me.
You're still
Man,
picky.
when
so,
men
yeah, I mean,
are
I guess that
sexist,
checks
it's
out.
a problem, but when Camcam does it, anyways.
Yeah. Maybe Cam can
What was
wear
that? I
blushes
didn't
at
hear
every
that. You were
guy.
mumbling. Can you speak up?
I was mumbling for a reason so that you couldn't
You
hear
want to
me.
speak up? I didn't hear you.
So like I was
I didn't hear you
saying,
either.
so
Can
I
you
Okay,
agree
speak
with
up?
that's what I
Kamui with the
thought. You're too
blushing
much of a
thing.
bitch to
So
say it out
I
loud.
think
Oh, so
I already
sad.
said it out loud. It's your own freaking fault for not hearing me. So
Well, I'm sorry. You were mumbling. You should have said it louder.
the latest that I'm sorry that I didn't speak clear enough for you, but I spoke clear enough for Kamui and Trippy to hear me.
Okay, well, it was directed at me, so say it louder.
No, it wasn't.
So what'd you have to say?
directed
Say
at
it.
you. I already said it.
Say it again.
Oh, is there a problem with me saying it once?
Yeah, because I didn't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's not like this is recorded or anything.
You think I want to listen? Never mind. Whatever.
I'm doing it for
Moving
the
on.
sake of the viewers, for the content, Camcam.
It's not good content, but anyways, moving on.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you are part of the content.
Yeah, so
I'm talking about
okay,
him
so
poking fun at me
Camcam
is
isn't
not good content.
Good to know.
How about
You
him
know-
poking
Okay.
fun at me is not good content?
It was definitely good content when we talk about your hatred for High Alert and Momoshiki's manifestation, though.
See, that's good content. But like him
God.
poking fun and mumbling about it is a bitch move. So yeah, not good content.
Gonna be mad. Okay, like I was saying, I think
you're the one that mad.
latest. I'm mad now. Okay, like I was saying, the latest that Eren could love Mikasa is when he asks Zeke about her Ackerman origins or whatever, and then Zeke's like, "No, she really loves you."
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't ask in the first place if he didn't have some kind of feelings, if he didn't care. So at that point, he definitely cares. I don't know about love, but definitely care. I think love. And it makes sense because
I think the
later
blushing
on,
scene, personally.
like it makes sense his reaction to her in season 4, like he just doesn't care because again, he's purposefully trying to distance himself. He always has his entire life, but now he's doing it on purpose. I don't think he was doing it on purpose earlier. Like I think he was just more so
I
striving
think he just
freedom.
wasn't thinking about romantic stuff at all.
For me, in season 1 and 2, he doesn't.
He was too busy being a Giga Chad to worry about women.
Yeah, in the earlier seasons, I think he likes Mikasa and ARMIN. He values their friendship, but I don't think he cares about Mikasa and ARMIN. He likes them, but he doesn't care about them. What Eren has always cared about was freedom. So what he cares about
What he
isn't...
cared about, though.
Well, I don't know. He
cared about
Well, here's the point, is that I think he didn't care about them. He cared about their freedom. He cared about the fact that they could be free.
The way he sobbed over Armin's death and like was fighting to like bring Armin back to life, you know, they were fighting over who like it was either Erwin or Armin, and he was like literally fighting for Armin's life. Like,
yeah, he definitely cared about Armin.
Armin died before he was free. Armin couldn't see the sea. He couldn't see the land of lava or whatever.
No.
The Valley of
okay.
Fire.
I mean, yes, but I think he cared about actually like in general.
I think he cared about Armin's freedom.
In
the same way,
like they were just
think about this. Eren didn't care about the people of the world. In fact, he hated them, but he still cared about their freedom. He hated Frida.
No, he didn't.
Because Frida.
He's literally like, if you try to take my freedom, dude, I'm taking yours.
Yeah, and he cares about he says like he cares about his friends, you know. I want you guys to live long lives, and you know, obviously he cares deeply about his friends.
Yeah, that's season 4. Like I was saying, this only applies early on, like the first season or 2.
I think okay. I think as a kid, he still cared about Mikasa and Armin, like they're childhood friends. Like
I think Eren would say he cares about them, but I don't think.
Well, yeah, and he's always there to back up like Armin, you know, like Armin was always.
Yeah, why does he bother doing that?
Again, it's for Armin's freedom. I don't think Eren realizes himself what he wants earlier on because he's just a dumb kid. Like Eren's never changed.
I think he cared about his friend.
I
don't think it was just for the freedom. I think he genuinely cares about Armin and Mikasa.
I mean, he's a freedom fighter. That's what he fights for. That's what he does anything for.
You can still be a freedom fighter and give a shit about.
Yeah, he can just be both, you know.
He can be both, but
humans are complex.
He isn't driven by Eren or Mikasa. He also doesn't listen to other people. He's hot-headed. He only does what he wants, essentially.
He listens to Armin and Mikasa at times.
I better not poke. Never mind.
Not every time, but like at times.
you can be hot-headed and like you can still have like really good friends, or you can still care about you still give a shit about people,
He may have listened to them. He may have tricked himself into caring. I don't know if he ever truly cared.
I don't. Like, I mean, I don't think we're gonna be able to. I mean, we
Yeah,
can't
I mean,
keep
just
going. I
looking at
think
his
we're just gonna
characterization.
disagree.
Again, because Armin notes the difference between himself and Eren. I think that's why he does what he does at the final episode.
Mm-hmm.
So Eren always rushes in. He doesn't care about his own safety, his own health, because all he cares about is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Even in
Okay.
episode
He
1.
also cares about his friends.
God. Trippy, what do you think? This is ridiculous.
I think it's both. I mean, I'm not
yeah.
trippy, but
I mean, why wouldn't he just care about both?
Okay, fine. He cares
care
about both.
about
And what
being free.
percent does he care about both?
Does it
Care
have to
about
be a
being
percentage?
free, and I
Yes.
care about my.
Does
that's
everything
tough.
have to be like
So, well, okay, but here's the thing about that. This is a weird one because I personally I would say he cares 100% about Armin as a person, and he 100% cares about Armin's freedom too. Like it's 100% both.
Okay, in that case, it's 50-50, is realistically, because I'm asking you the percentage.
Okay. I mean, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but it's like weird to think about it like he only 50% cares about Armin as a person. Like,
Oh
but
my
sure.
50% in this case is 100%, because you can't go beyond 50% when you have two things.
Yeah, which is like it's like weird because like I like if you ask me, oh, well, do I like lobster or steak? Well, I 100% like both of them. I like lobster more, but I don't only 30% like steak.
I'm saying it's on a spectrum. So, like, lobster would be on the left and steak would be on the right, and, like, the middle would just be, like, you like them both equally.
Yeah, I know what you're
But
asking.
you lean more to
I know what you're asking. Like, don't worry.
Okay. So I think Eren... Okay, you know what? We don't have to even put a percentage. I think Eren leans more towards their freedom rather than them as people.
I think, yeah, that makes sense.
Because
I
why
think I
would
would
he
go right in the middle
try and grow distant from them in the first place? Like,
because he wanted them to live long lives because he cares about
well,
them as people.
and it would hurt them too much, and he'd also didn't want them to be like because Armin was supposed to be the one to take down like Eren, right? And so like if he's seen as being like too buddy buddy with Eren, then it'll screw up the plan basically.
I mean, in regards to like the freedom like percentage thing, I really think it has to be in the middle because it's like, well, he's just not going to care about their freedom if he doesn't care about them as people. And if he cares about them as
Disagree.
people, of course he cares about their freedom. I think they go hand in hand, and it's like 50-50. It's
He
like it's
cares that they are people. He doesn't care about them as people. The same way he cared
I
about the
disagree with
world
that.
as people. The same way, the only reason... I'm going to say the only reason. You're probably going to disagree. The only reason he saved Mikasa in the cabin as a kid from those traffic abductors or whatever they're called is because
Human
they
traffickers.
were trying to take
Traffic
away Mikasa's freedom. It didn't
I
matter
agree
who
with
it
that.
was.
No,
It could have
in
been
that
anyone in Mikasa's situation. Eren's doing the same exact thing. He didn't do it
absolutely,
because it's Mikasa. He did it because
yeah, because he
that
didn't know me.
person's
The problem,
freedom
no,
was going to be taken
I
away.
agree with that. But the thing is,
Yeah,
he
and
didn't know
because he
Mikasa as a
says those people
person.
are animals. They're not human, that's why he does it.
That's what he thinks, yeah. But in the same
I mean,
way,
also though, like
yeah.
you can't say he would care about Mikasa when he didn't even know her yet at that point. Like, so the option isn't there. Of course, the only reason is freedom there.
Okay,
That's
but hang on, I'm gonna compare it to this. He's doing the same exact thing when he protects Armin from the bullies because he knows Armin. I don't think he's doing it because he cares about Armin as a person. He cares about Armin's freedom in the same way he cared about Mikasa's freedom. It's the same thing.
But were they
different
impeding
situation.
his freedom?
Or beating him up.
They weren't killing. But yeah, but it's not impeding his freedom necessarily.
If he's
It's just
crippled, he's
torture.
not free. They could have crippled him.
You mean disabled? We don't say crippled. Just saying.
I thought it was. Never mind. Okay, because you said I can't say the word out loud. The H word. Because you're telling me that one. You never told me that one.
What is the H word?
The H word. Yeah,
I know what you mean.
handicapped and crippled, or like this the words that are just outdated now. So
Okay,
yeah.
well, you never told me the second one. You only told me the first one. I did take to
Oh,
heart the first one. I
yeah,
have taken that to
they're,
heart.
they're just outdated.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
You'll
know,
have to tell
language
me the
changes
story
over
of the
time.
second one. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, yeah, so I think he was definitely protecting ARMIN for the freedom.
I think it was both.
Then why would you have like two closest friends in that case?
She cared especially about their freedom.
Especially those two.
Yeah, exactly.
For some
Yeah.
reason, he just picked those two.
Well, again, I
Yeah,
think
their
EREN is
freedoms
just a
were
kid.
really worth fighting for.
Like, EREN has very, very deep values, as we see later on. I don't think those values were built over time. I think he's always had those in him. He just wasn't able to process those emotions as a kid because he didn't know how. So he just did what he thought was best at the time. But he's always thought that way. He just didn't realize he thought that way.
I still think he just
It's very
it was both.
complex.
He cared about them because he cared about them. He cared about their freedom in particular.
CC, I agree.
Okay. So, okay, well, when EREN sees Freda talking to Grisha, and Freda, whatever, the vow to renounce war, EREN is clearly not happy camper at that moment. Why? Because random other people's strangers' freedom were being taken away. And Freda
No,
was
it's
allowing
not random other people. Stranger, it's his people. Even though yes, they're random. The point is, the enemy Marley is taking away the freedom of his people. So
Yeah,
there's a
Eldians.
scale.
Okay.
A random parody person means more than a random Marley to EREN, but a parody person he knows means more to EREN than a random parody
Which
person he doesn't
I
know.
do have problems with that. With the random parody person means more, because like, didn't some of the Titans in the rumbling like kill some of the Eldians? So like,
Yeah.
you know, do they really matter?
Only the ones that fought back, but
Well, no, they
yeah.
matter
No,
more.
they stepped on him.
That's
They,
well,
like,
yeah. That's why
the Wall Titans.
Well, I mean, why do you think EREN apologizes specifically to Ramsey and he's crying? So it clearly does matter to him.
Oh, like those people, yeah. Well, yeah, there's some level of like, just I mean, yeah, that's like a complex thing, but like he cares in general about like, yeah, he's not just like he doesn't necessarily like hate Ramsey the way he hates like the evil Marleyans, but like
We're
he
expendable.
cares more about Armin than he does Ramsey.
Yeah, like EREN's not sad that he has to kill. He's sad that he's having to take away their freedom, essentially. But it's because they try to take away his freedom first. But he recognizes Ramsey isn't necessarily
Why would he
the
be
one
sad?
doing that. I mean,
Exactly, that's why he doesn't want to kill Ramsey either.
Yeah. So he does care about Ramsey. He doesn't want Ramsey to die necessarily, but he knows Ramsey needs to for EREN. For EREN's sake.
Yeah, he knows that Ramsey's going to die, yeah.
Going to die too, yeah, as well, because he sees a future. So it's not that he wants Ramsey to die. I mean, it kind of is, but he needs to do the rumbling.
It's not that he. Yeah, it's not that he wants Ramsey to die. It's that he wants to do the rumbling for other reasons more than he cares about whether or not Ramsey dies.
Well, I mean, I'll also clarify. He could have saved Ramsey. He could have brought him back to parody. He specifically didn't, because it's not about Ramsey. It's not about the Eldians. It's just about freedom. And I think that applies
Well,
to...
Ramsey would just be free in Eldia in that case.
That's what I'm saying. EREN chose not to do
So,
that.
why? I thought he valued his freedom.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. It's all about freedom.
No, if it was all about freedom, he would just let him be free in parody.
That's okay, but that's what I'm saying, is that he's seeing Ramsey as the same as the rest of the world, even though he likes Ramsey more than the rest of the world. The point is that he knows he can't do that because he sees them as the ones that will take away his freedom. Or try to. Because as far as he knew, those child abductors were also Eldian, so it's not an Eldian thing. Like, he could have saved anyone, technically.
To a certain extent, yes, but I don't... I mean, the real thing is I just don't think... I think he cares about Armin as a person.
I mean, realistically,
at least when it comes to Armin and Mikasa.
Well, with them, it's the same as Ramsey. If he did save Ramsey, Ramsey wouldn't be grateful or thank Eren. He would try and kill Eren in the same way Gabby did. He would have hate and revenge on his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. And then he also doesn't want him to feel that also, obviously, because he doesn't want him to feel like his freedom's being taken away or whatever. So it is all about freedom
Yeah,
for him. Even if it doesn't make sense, that's how he sees it. That's the way
I
it makes
think
sense to him.
a lot of things are all about freedom, but I definitely think he likes Mikasa and cares for Mikasa and Armin as people, in addition to their freedom.
Okay, BRB.
Okay. It's not a blush, it's something a little more raw, says the gamers. Shout out them. Shout out Camcam.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna pick a point where he's like in love with Mikasa, I mean, that's the best point to pick, just because he's freaking blushing at her. So.
You could also argue it's as early as maybe even when Armin dies, he realizes how much he cares about both Armin and Mikasa as friends, and then maybe from there he develops his romantic feelings for Mikasa. Or even like
Maybe
when he sees the sea and he's like, if we kill everyone over there, will we be safe? And focusing the emphasis on us, like, because he's doing it for us. Like everyone, that's probably where he first thought of everyone that sits at the table when he's about to stab out his eye, in season 4. He like has a future memory vision or whatever of all those people, like Hanji.
Yeah,
Mikasa,
one of those
Eren,
people goes on to die.
Exactly. So that might be when he first develops it.
Oh yeah, Trippy. Did you know that Hanji's in episode 1? But not Levi, unfortunately. We tried to look for him. EREN's in episode 1 too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when do you think?
While Camcam's gone, who do you think is the best written character in Attack on Titan? I know I have Oodie's. I'm pretty sure you're gonna pick Bertolt, but
he's
unless
my favorite. He's not
you have a different one.
Written.
Okay, who do you think's the best written?
It might be I almost said Trippy. It might be Eren.
I was gonna say Eren, but
that's tough. I think there's a lot that I think are really well written.
Well, to be fair, when I say best written, I don't mean overall, because I think Eren is also at the same time the worst written character, unironically, in Attack on Titan.
Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking overall, like overall.
Yeah.
The season 4 shift made me really like Eren as a character.
Reiner was cool until season 4 towards the end. I don't want to say he was cool. I didn't know him in season 1. In season 2, he just was the Armor Titan. That's like his whole character. I don't like him. Bertolt isn't really a character in terms of writing, so I don't want to choose him. Do I even like any characters writing in any of Attack on Titan overall? Do I like any of these characters?
I
really like
Levi. You know what? Maybe Ymir.
I really enjoyed Eren and Levi.
Do you not like Levi?
Yeah,
he's cool. I guess
Levi's my.
He's okay.
Yeah, so,
no, Levi I think is one of the best.
You like him?
Yeah, he's likable.
I don't think he's like the best written, but yeah, he's a cool character.
Levi's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose the real Ymir for best written character.
Oh, not fake Ymir.
Not fake Ymir. No, definitely not.
Fake Ymir is the best.
I know I'm not. I know who I'm not picking. Rod Rice, the worst dude ever.
So Camcam specifically, while you're gone, we were saying not our favorite, but who we think is the best written. So obviously Bertolt's my favorite, but I can't choose him for best written because of obvious reasons.
Yeah. Best written.
And that's overall.
Why is that? What are the obvious reasons?
So overall, because I think Eren is both the best and worst written, but he's not overall. Like, it doesn't even out to being the best overall.
His peaks are the best, though.
Yeah. And his troughs are the worst.
Surprised Oodie didn't say peak.
Why would I
the
care
card
about
Titan's the best written character?
I don't care about peak at all.
The card Titan's the best written character. Not peak, but the card Titan.
I don't know. I really like the writing of fake Ymir. I really like her writing.
That's right.
To be honest,
I don't think
I was reading the manga again, and I don't know. I really like the way she's written. Really
Yeah,
speaks to me.
I like Connie.
Really speaks to me as a fellow gay. You know.
Okay, but
I really
also
like, I don't know,
okay.
EREN and LEVI are kind of high up there for me.
So Camcam, assuming
Of course.
canonically the fake Ymir isn't gay, just confirm. The author confirmed it in an interview, but the story is the exact same. Where does Ymir rank?
Ranking what?
He's like, oh, bottom of the barrel.
Exactly. Like, do you like? So aside from being gay, why else do you like the fake Ymir?
I also like her because like it kind of brings up the idea of being selfish versus selfless, and how we can kind of like switch between the two, right?
Yeah.
And how at the end of the day it is a good thing to be selfless, and we kind of do see selfishness as a bad thing in some cases, but it is also important to put your needs first at the end of the day, I think, before we start becoming a martyr and like putting everybody else's needs before our own. Like both aspects
Madara.
can be unhealthy. We got to have a balance
Wow.
between the two, and I think that's kind of like what's tragic about fake Ymir.
I agree and think that was very elegantly said. Good job. I like all
Thanks,
that.
appreciate
I
it.
completely agree. And I love the like whole selfish angle as well.
Uh-huh.
I will say I hate her song "Call to Silence," one of the worst songs in Attack on Titan. No offense.
My favorite song. Oh my god.
Okay, then Camcam, can we cover that song, or do you even your favorite song? You're like, no.
No, that song's really hard to sing.
Fair enough.
The range on
Well,
that song. I had it
we
post
can
a cover of
always
that
do
song
the
that I really
Attack
like.
on Titan fight theme.
That's what I was thinking. The East Vasti Titisa. Kamui does it better than
No,
me.
thank you.
Or even the
Yeah, I know what you're
I
talking
can't sing. I'm tone deaf.
huh.
I don't think I'm tone deaf because I was in band. I just can't sing. I have a terrible voice.
Nah, you got it.
I
We're
like
not
all
even
the
asking
sim
you to be
songs
like the
in the
main
intro.
vocalist, even though that's what I would like the most, considering it's the female vocalist that sings it anyways. You could just be like the instrumentalist or the drummer or whatever. Or even if you
No,
have an
thank you.
instrument, you don't even have to sing. You just play an instrument. Because I
No,
have a
thank you.
kalimba, so I was gonna play the kalimba and sing.
No, thank you. Trippy can sing. You make him vocals.
I cannot
Make him
sing.
main
Trippy,
vocals.
Trippy does deserve to be the singer.
Trippy, can we just decide this right now? In a future Attack on Titan stream, would you be willing, under any circumstances, with benefits, incentives, whatever, would you?
Yes.
He said yes. All right. Everyone heard it. It's recorded. It's confirmed it. All right. Thank you, Trippy. Moving on.
He is
Finish what you
willing.
said. Do you
Moving
want me to
on.
sing? I'll sing. I'll do it.
All right. See, I told you,
Thank
Camcam.
God.
We don't need an incentive.
It's probably
Perfect.
gonna sound horrible, but I'll do it.
Well, again,
Oh,
like
I love you, Trippy.
we're gonna be your
God.
backup
God
vocals,
bless
me and
you.
Kamui, so it's fine.
God bless you, Trippy.
Okay. And
You gotta sing
Camcam,
"Under
do
the
you
Tree" by
have
Sim.
an instrument to play at all? Maybe
I do
It's
something?
gonna
not.
be so hard.
You can clap along. You could do that at least.
I have a
Cool.
guitar,
Maybe I can
but I
get
don't
Blue to
really.
sing.
I only know how to
Well,
play like songs. I don't know how to just actually play the guitar.
That's okay
We can
because
just like play like an instrument we don't know just for the hilariousness of it.
yeah, again, I got the kalimba. Me and Kamui got the drums. We got the instrumentals. We'll be doing the mouth vocals. We got it. You just gotta be the main singer.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Glad we decided
We
this
have
for
to
the next
decide
Attack on
which
Titan.
song. Which song we're gonna? Are we just gonna go with the my favorite theme, the Attack on Titan one?
I mean, we've got to. It's so iconic at this point for the podcast. Estás
Yeah, dude, it's like the theme. I think we should do the one. Are we doing the whole song?
How long is the whole song?
Like 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes, or something.
Okay, we're probably gonna do like a
Oh my
2-minute
God.
recap version of it.
Just do like
We
the
can
chorus.
just skip to like the chorus and then the ending, I guess.
Like, I want it to be more than just like a 5-second thing. I want it to be like a good minute or two, but like,
Oh my God,
Okay,
you wanted me
5
to do a
minutes.
minute or two? Damn, and you didn't tell me that? Man, you weaselly little liars.
We can just
What do
skip
you
to the
mean? The
chorus
expectation
when they
should have been the
go.
full song. In that case, it would have been like a 4 or 5 minute song. So
No,
you're
thank
welcome.
you.
I'm cutting it up. I'm shortening it already. You're welcome.
Mm-mm.
It's like half as much as you should have expected.
Mm-mm.
Exactly. Okay, I'm glad we got to decide it.
I'd rather kill myself. Thank you very much.
Okay, whatever. Moving on.
I think we should
self-deletion.
do the season 3
In a video
version of
game.
it where there's the vocals and we can like try to like say the actual words wrongfully, of course, but
We'll figure it out.
at least we have words to work with
We'll figure it
for
out
the rest of the song.
Okay. Getting back to the questions here. So the fourth thing of the 5 things that I wanted to talk on, since we were taking it right. Okay. So at what point did everyone decide they would kill EREN? So
Like
for
each person
Marley,
separately,
all the
or when did they
Marleyans,
collectively do it?
I think just individually. So I think all the Marleyans just immediately, like the moment they were born.
Yeah.
I mean, you already know my argument there. I completely agree with that. You guys don't, but whatever. They're the least.
Oh, yeah, I already know where you're going.
But I think the more
Specifically,
interesting
EREN. Like
characters.
they were born in there.
I think the
The
more
moment
interesting
they
characters-
heard of his name and who he was, like,
But,
okay,
like,
yeah, he died.
Hanji, she died, but like when she died, was she resolved to kill EREN? Like if EREN was in front of him, would she hesitate?
No.
I think she would want to talk to him first, like ARMIN, but if push came to shove, she would kill him.
Okay, so at what point did Hanji decide she is gonna kill EREN? No questions asked the moment she sees him. Like it's
I don't
on
think she got
sight.
to that point. I don't think she got to that point at
Yeah,
all.
I don't know if
She
she
died
ever
before
did.
then.
Okay, Camcam, when do you think?
That had to be at the table scene.
Maybe.
Where they're talking to kind of like round everybody up and be like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. Or who's in and who's out?" You know?
Okay. You mean the like
And
campfire when they're outside?
no, it's like I think there are some people in jail, and she's
Yeah,
sitting
like
at a
Sean
table.
says, she bangs her fist on the table, and like
Mhm.
Sean says something about like, oh, maybe we should just let him do it. She's like I'm not gonna like justify genocide or whatever.
And
Whatever
then you
she
can
says word
see
for
like
word.
all of the fallen comrades behind her.
I could be
I think that's
corrected.
when
I could be stood corrected, but I don't think even once the word genocide is used in Attack on Titan. I don't think any.
it is with
character says
Hanji.
it
Yes.
It is in the dubs at least.
with the
No,
dub.
in the
In the
sub,
Okay,
it is used.
maybe they said it once.
Genocide is used.
Okay, fair enough.
And I figured
it's
it might be
definitely
helpful
used
to
in the
bring up the
dubs,
official
but-
definition of genocide
Please.
by the Geneva
Well, we went over
Convention,
this the other day, actually. Which I don't know if we really want to get into this on stream.
Like just
I
saying
kinda
the
did,
word
but-
makes us automatically demonetized. But it's so funny how like it's mentioned maybe once in Attack on Titan, but it's like the main discussion from everyone watching it off scene or whatever.
And I think it's mentioned by others. It's at least mentioned a handful of times, I think. But
I think
Hanji
so.
says, "I'm not going to justify genocide."
Okay.
Yeah. She's just, I'll be like, she's like, I don't care. It's genocide. And I'll be damned if I'm going to justify it. I think that's what she said in the dub.
Mm-hmm.
Something close to that. But, yeah. It's at least used in that scene.
Mhm.
Oh, rip the monetization on this rainbow.
Oh, well. That's like 1 hour deep. Nobody's watching. YouTube is not watching this stream. Unless it happens to blow up on this one stream. But,
So, Camcam, are you finding
Yeah.
that scene? You said or no?
I was supposed to. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said
Hold
you
on.
were. You don't have to now. I thought someone said they were. Maybe not. That's fine.
Sorry, I was
okay.
eating.
That's fine. No, it's completely fine. All right, different character.
I'm gonna eat my salad.
Okay, so John is the reason I wrote this question in the first place because freaking they say 20 times we're gonna have to kill EREN. Like in the final episode, like after, like oh my god, when they're freaking riding on Falco, the flying titan, like Mikasa,
he's crying.
we have
like,
to kill
"Let's kill Eren."
EREN. Like freaking no, what are you doing here, John? What have you been trying to do? Like I completely know that's not the point. It's just funny. But like, do you think that's when he made his mind up, or do you think he was reaffirming that?
I think reaffirming.
Okay, so when do you think
He
he made
kinda
his
already-
mind up? Like, same time
Yeah.
as
I mean,
everyone else.
it's
Connie, Hanji?
confusing because on one hand, using John as an example, it's like he made up his mind to kill Eren when he blew up the bomb, but at the same
Yeah.
time, he's immediately after like, yeah, I didn't really think that was going to be us to kill you. So it's like, did he really resolve himself then if he didn't actually think it was going to kill him?
I think he did resolve himself, but I think he was also like, oh, let's hope this works. You know, like let's hope it really does kill him.
I think a lot of them didn't actually resolve themselves to kill Eren until later, even if they said they did. Like, it's the same thing Sakura did with Sasuke. She resolved to kill him, said she was going to. That's the whole reason she went there in the first place and confronted him.
I
And
think
then even
Levi had
then-
no problems.
No, Levi absolutely had no problem at all.
No, he did
I mean,
not.
he was upset about it, but like, yeah, if there was one person who was going to do it first, it's probably Levi
Absolutely,
or
yeah.
Peak. Actually, Peak was the first one. Who was like, yeah, let's kill him.
Peak, like, let's fucking take him
Oh, no,
out.
Marley and
Or Annie, way
Marley's
back.
were trying
yeah.
to kill him before anyone else.
Yeah, yeah. So disregarding Annie and Pete there, then Levi. Yeah.
Okay, in terms of Eldians, yeah, because that's the more interesting conversation. But again, I think it's like the same thing Sakura did. Like, she said she was going to do it. That's the reason she went there. Even when Sasuke was fighting Kakashi, she tried to do it again, to where she got the kunai. She went underneath the bridge. She fell to the water. She went behind him, tried to stab him. She couldn't do it. An inch away with the kunai in his back, she couldn't do it, even though she told herself that she was going to do it several times. And she still couldn't do it. Face to face with the opportunity. It's nothing was stopping her except for herself. So even if John earlier on said he was going to do it, maybe he wasn't actually going to do it until that moment.
Well, because we have John's scene of where, like, he's imagining being, like, an MP and, like, he has a wife, he has a kid, he's, like, drinking expensive liquor, like, he has, like, a balcony, like, apartment, like, he's living a good life. And you know, so I think he's literally giving all of that up. He's saying, no, I'm giving all that up, and I'm going to stop the rumbling. You know, we got to take him. And they know by stopping the rumbling, they have to take Eren out. So that is, to me, making up your mind and resolving yourself by letting your wants go.
I disagree. Kamui,
I think he resolved to stop the rumbling,
exactly,
but not necessarily kill Eren.
That's where I was going.
Because even Armin, as an example, he's 100% resolved to stop the rumbling, and same with Mikasa, but they made it pretty blatantly clear they were not yet resolved to kill Eren. Like, you know, until the very end.
If anything, they just wanted to talk to Eren. They weren't even going to kill him at the first point. In the first.
Yeah,
oh yeah, they didn't.
But,
they specifically didn't want to kill him. They're like, I want to talk to him first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing that Sakura does. Like, her going there, you could say she made her mind up to kill Sasuke, but we know she didn't actually. She convinced herself that she did. She said that she did, but she was just lying to herself.
I don't know. I feel like we don't get any indication that John has lying to himself. You know.
Then why does he say it multiple times?
I think sometimes you have to, like, reaffirm yourself, but that doesn't mean it's like you're not resolved to do it. You know.
Well, here's the thing for me, at least, is the progressive emotion with each. Like, I don't know actually that he says that multiple times. Like, it might just be 2 times. But at the very least, the last time is by far his most emotional one, where it's like he is crying, like he's like, that's what makes it seem sincere, like he's actually resolved it, because of how much sadder he seems this time versus the other times. Like,
in fact, that
I know
makes
there's
it
at
more
least
real.
2 times.
Because
but
when he's sad, that's when he's acknowledging that he actually has to do it. But he can lie to himself earlier and be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill Eren. But, like, he doesn't actually believe it, so he's not sad about it when he says it. He's just saying it, even if he believes it.
And like the other potential time, I don't remember specifically each and every time he may have said it, but like when he's like, gotta blow up the bomb, he seems emotional when he's saying like, you suicidal maniac. Like, again, like you can feel more sincerity to those versus any other potential one. But even that one compared to the last one is night and day. So it's tough to honestly for John, and I probably would pick when he was bawling at the end. It's like the true time he resolved.
And when you look at that scene as well, I think it's the latest he resolved. I think Camcam's right to where he could have resolved earlier. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I just don't know when. I don't want to pinpoint one specific time and be like, yeah, it's definitely there. And I don't know what even is most likely. Camcam could just be right. I think it's equally likely. I will say though, look at the reason of why he said it to Mikasa when he said it in the final episode. He wasn't saying it to affirm it for her. He was saying it for himself. It's not like he was saying it in response to something. He was just saying it because he realized at that moment for himself that he had to do this. And he was just saying it to Mikasa.
You could say it was for Mikasa too, though, just because, like, you know, of all the people who wasn't going to kill Eren, like, she probably need the most convincing. So you could say it's both.
But I think the most interesting part of this discussion isn't John, obviously, or anyone else. It's definitely ARMIN and MIKASA.
I was like Connie. Connie did it.
Connie's the
So we
same
have
as
no
John, let's be
indication
real.
of-
Same character.
We don't have. I know, like it was like we don't even know what. Like Connie doesn't say much about it. Like
He just secretly always hated.
he always had to kill.
Well, actually, isn't he the one that points out that Eren was laughing? Both after Hannes and
Yeah, he is. He was pissed. Actually, I also think he does say we need to kill Eren earlier. I don't remember when. I thought he might say it though.
He might.
It's been so
He's
long
before
since
John.
He
I've
might be
seen
second.
season 4, so I don't remember.
Earliest, like after Levi.
Yeah, honestly, like right after Levi. It's like, yeah, I'm done with this guy. He laughed at Sasha. Like,
I'd say John after him, and then I think the last two.
what
would
about
be-
Ryan? Okay, Annie's really early. We know that because she's like talking about it in the way earlier.
Yeah.
What about Rhina?
Because he's like wondering when will our suffering end, but I don't know if that means I want to kill you. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because like out of all the Marleyan warriors, like Rhina's definitely the one who doesn't want to kill Eren the most, or he wants to kill Eren the least. Like compared to Peak, Annie, and so on, or Falco, Gabi. Like, let's be real, Rhina would rather is less likely to kill Eren.
Like,
But the
again,
question is, when was he resolved to do
it
it?
sounds silly because they're supposed to be enemies, and they are enemies. That is how they're even depicted, even in season 4. But it's kind of like they have this dynamic, like Sasuke and Naruto. Like,
Well, it's
they
because
have
Rhina
a
actually
relationship.
befriended them. Like at the end of the day, Bertolt and Rhina weren't lying when they said like when Bertolt's like, yeah, you're always gonna be my dear comrades. Like
Yeah.
they became friends.
But
Rhina
it's-
was so mad about it in season 2 because it's like, shit, like, I'm actually friends with my enemies. Like this sucks.
I agree. I
But-
think it is more than that though, because Naruto was friends with the Konoha 9 or whatever, but he had a specific relationship with Sasuke. In the same way, I think Rhina has a very specific relationship that's very deep with Eren, even if it's never said.
But probably because of the sense that like maybe it's like more like Naruto and Gaara, where he specifically sees himself in Eren in a sense.
That's fine.
Like
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, because it's tough to say like Naruto and Sasuke.
I
I'm like,
agree.
okay, I'm thinking like,
It is weird.
you know, Armin and Eren, like the best buddies. It's but like Gaara, it's like, oh, I see you in myself kind of thing. I think that it also fits narratively in the sense that they were enemies and became
Yeah.
allies. But
I like that.
so I think that would be a better comparison.
Yeah, I agree. At what point he decided? I genuinely
so
have no
tough.
idea. I mean, technically,
Yeah,
like
same.
in season 1, episode 1, if you really want to go there, but
Yeah, it's just like with Rhina, it's like varying points. Sometimes he is, sometimes he is.
in terms of this final time, though, I mean, is he ever even? Like, I still don't even know.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
I don't
we never
think
even
so.
see him depicted that he is. He never says like, "Let's kill Eren" or anything. Like, he's never shown that.
Trippy, do you think he did at all, or?
No, he was just like fighting everything. Like he wasn't really.
Like, if anything, Rhina was more resolved to die himself than he was to kill Eren.
He was defending everybody else. He just.
Yeah, he was never in the role of like doing the killing of Eren. I guess that's the problem.
Camcam, do you have an answer?
Yeah, he
for
was
this one?
resolved to kill the spiny thing. But
Yeah, for real.
okay. I guess okay. We said yeah. When do we think Levi was resolved?
I mean, as soon as they're like, as soon as they start forming a coalition and they go to get Reiner because they've already made up their mind. All right, we're gonna stop this rumbling. We're gonna go kill her.
I think well, it's. I mean, there's a certain point. Levi honestly is the one who says like we don't have the luxury of waiting on Eren anymore. Like 3 times, I'm pretty sure.
That's fair. I agree. It's kind of like what John does.
So I feel like
like this
definitely not
nightmare
the
will
last
never
time.
end
Like
until
when
we
he
take
says
over.
like no, we never had it to begin with. He still doesn't want to kill Eren,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
like he's like resolved to. There's a time before that where he says it again. I believe. I think it's when yeah, once the Ymir makes all the 9 warriors show up. I think he says it again there, like, okay, we do not have the luxury of like Eren anymore. I think at that point, like when they plan to blow him up, I think it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm done. And Is that when he says like shit? He starts getting mad that he hasn't told Eren the things he wants to tell him, or is that a different time?
I'm not sure when you're referring to. I will say, I think
There's a point where he's like on a Falco. It's either when Falco saves them underneath like the big bony belly, or it's the other time when he's like at the very end when he's like, shit, there were so many things I wanted to beat into that guy or whatever.
I think a genuine Levi analysis is, I think this goes without saying, but he wasn't worried about Eren. He was worried, definitely 100% of his focus was on Zeke. So you can only say until after Zeke, where he started focusing on Eren, because that was never really his
that's
focus.
also true. Yeah.
I will say, I think of all people to go against the rumbling or to support it, Levi would be the most in the middle. Like, I don't think he's losing any sleep if Eren completes his plan. He doesn't want him to. He would prefer Eren not to. But I mean, Levi.
Yeah, I see. I think he cares the least about death.
Yeah,
he's like kind of just cold-hearted like himself at this point from all the shit he's had to deal with. Like you're right. Like his mindset on Zeke. When everyone was talking about killing Eren, Levi was the first person to be like, screw that. Let's just kill Zeke.
like again,
I don't. Dude, fuck that. Let's kill that.
I don't think he wants the rumbling to happen. I think he wants the rumbling to stop. That's why he tries to stop it after stopping Zeke anyway.
Exactly. That's why he tries to stop it by killing Zeke.
But like, if Eren just straight up succeeded, then I think he would just do the same thing he did after Liberia. Like, he would just kick him in the face and be like, "You're dumb," and like throw him in jail or whatever.
Yeah,
that's the end of it. Like, he's just kicking him in the face. That's like it.
He's beating his ass. Like, wow, you're so stupid. Or he's like, you might be the founding titan, but I can still beat your ass. Like, with 2 fingers, all I need. Like,
just please don't sprain my ankle.
Yeah, the only thing that could beat Levi is
that's his Achilles heel. Leave him alone, okay?
Yeah, literally.
There was even a biblical figure.
It's his Achilles ankle, you might say.
Hair, and his hair was cut, and he was able to be killed. Okay, so leave my man alone.
Okay.
Dude, I still I love the final scene, but like I do in my heart wish Levi did a roly-poly attack with the legs of Eren's Colossal or something, like destroyed his leg with his special move there. That thing is cool. Like, I can never stop watching him beat up the beast. Like, the coolest thing ever.
Okay, so when Levi resolved himself, I think it's also fair to say, giving just more Levi analysis here, not only is he probably the most in the middle on the rumbling, but also he'd probably be the most in the middle on taking out Eren, considering he would also recognize Eren as a military asset, which he would probably have in the back of his mind, like just as a backup plan or even just contingency. Okay, if Marley or the rest of the world still attacks us, we kind of still want Eren to live regardless of the rumbling. So, like, he was, I think, trying to find some way to get around not having to kill Eren, especially after killing Zeke and the rumbling stops. Because at that point, the only one they have to really worry about is Eren for sure.
I feel like there's no indication of that, though.
Sure, but that's just...
Well, I mean, he does say, like, yeah, we don't have the luxury of Eren. You know, again, like, after when the Spiny thing wakes up and then Eren shows up as the Colossal Titan, he's like, yeah, we don't have the luxury of killing Eren anymore. Actually, we never had it to begin with. Like, he says it again, and it's like, okay, maybe, like the Jean thing, maybe he wasn't actually planning on killing Eren after all. Like, you could argue it.
Well, specifically, I think he was focused on trying to stop the rumbling and then stop Eren. But he realized later on that he couldn't. Specifically, what he says is, now that we've realized it, this nightmare will never end until we kill Eren. So I think that indicates he wasn't trying to kill Eren until this point, because he was trying to find some other way. He was focused on finding some way to get around having to kill Eren.
Yeah, because as he said, he wanted to teach him a lesson.
But you look at why, I don't think it's because Levi cared about Eren as a friend or something. So why would he do it? That's my interpretation, is because he does still see him as an asset.
I think
it's because he does care about his subordinates. You know, we do see him putting himself in danger.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it would be both. Like, sure, he probably does have a military like mindset as a soldier, but like he definitely cared about Eren as a person too. I think at that point.
I mean,
Like the whole team.
he did enter into the military out of blackmail, to be honest. So like, mm,
What he cares about is comrades for sure. Like Team Levi that
yeah,
the
yeah,
female
yeah.
Titan took
But so I'm
out.
saying he doesn't have like a huge
Yeah.
obligation to the military. I would say he's not like has that military mindset. I would say.
Yeah, his comrades is like half of his character. Like it's just that's everything for him is his comrades, really.
I
Yeah,
will
it's his
say,
family. But is he like trying to rise in the ranks of military? Like, not necessarily.
I mean, I will say with this, he made a choice to let Team Levi go face down the female Titan, but he also had EREN make that choice. And so I don't like he beat up EREN in the prison cell. Like, you could argue, oh, that's like to not prison cell, but the court. You could argue that's like for the facade or whatever, putting on a play, pretending essentially. He was still beating up EREN. Like, I don't think he cared about that per se. In the same way in season 4, I don't think he cared after EREN bombed Liberio or whatever that he beat him up there. Like, I don't think he sees him as a friend, even if he sees him as a comrade, as a fellow person in the war. Like, he probably sees EREN a little bit above the way he saw Flock in season 3.
I
In
mean,
terms of as a person.
in the so what Levi
It's
beats up
because
Aaron.
Aaron
It,
is like a dumbass. Sometimes
Yeah.
dumbasses need a good beating.
yeah, well, because that's the thing is so the two times that you're referring to Levi beating up Aaron have some important differences. So the first time in the court, Levi doesn't know Aaron as a person yet. This is before he joins the Levi squad. This last time, he's like worked with Aaron for a long time. The first time you say, yeah, he's beating up because A, facade, and B, like, why the hell not? It's freaking Aaron. But the last time, it's like, I'm beating up my friend because my friend's an idiot and I gotta teach my friend a lesson. Like, you can interpret it that too.
I understand, but I think he would have the same relationship to Aaron that he would have to Mikasa or Armin or like John or
Yeah, I
Kamui.
think it is the same. I think his relationship to Aaron is pretty similar to the other soldiers.
Yeah, and
but
he
he's
risked
friends
his
with all
life
of
to
them.
save John, didn't he? Like in the final season.
But
Didn't
that's
he?
not
Yeah,
because they're
or
friends,
Connie.
it's because they're freaking military people.
No, are you kidding me, dude? Connie was holding the back of anything.
But we've seen an OVA of what Levi's friends look like to Levi. When a Titan ate Levi's friends, you get to see how
That
he
was his
reacts in the OVA.
That was his family. And to be honest,
he
like
cares
now
about.
he's gotten older. Like what? He's how old is he? I think he's in his 30s. But anyways, he's much older now and more experienced, so he knows how to like kind of keep his emotions intact. Like he did when Team Levi was, murdered by Annie, for instance.
I will also say though, like people like EREN, Hanji, the ones he's been in for like God knows how many years, like those are his truest, closest friends.
Those
Like
are family.
Armin, Mikasa, EREN are not on the level of Hanji
Yeah.
and the smelly, Kiba guy and EREN and so on. Like in the Levi squad and so on. Like those people are closer to Levi. Why? He's just closer to them. But that doesn't mean that he's not
And he was
friends
upset
with his
over
other
Erwin,
subordinates.
but he could see the situation and be like, I'm still gonna pick Armin. Armin's the best choice.
The way I see it,
He also picks Armin out of his friendship for EREN. He wanted to let EREN just rest and be done with hell. Like,
yeah,
basically.
but he also says Armin was the best choice, and I don't regret not picking you.
I don't think he says that Armin was the best choice. I don't remember, but I know he says I don't regret not picking
He says it in this episode that we're talking about in the finale.
I just remember him saying I don't regret choosing Armin over EREN. But
again,
I don't know, either way.
I think that's just a military thing. Like when I was in football, everyone on the football team was my friend.
He said because
but, like,
he had that same look in his eyes, like
yeah,
really military.
Yeah,
okay, but I wasn't going out skating with everyone on the football team. Like, I wasn't going out getting ramen with everyone on the football team. In the same way, like, I think Kiba and Sai could get along. They could use teamwork, but they're not hanging out outside of missions.
Okay, that's obviously true in, like, yeah, you could pick out people like that, but, like, at the same time, there's plenty of examples where those football people are going out to eat together. They are hanging out together. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura on Team 7, they are hanging out together. In this case, Levi's squad is like Team 7. That's Kakashi and the others are Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura.
But they're
It's
kind of
different from
Yeah,
Kiba's side, who are on a
to be
different
together.
team. The Levi squad is together.
But they're being forced to be together, essentially.
No, nobody
picked them,
forced them
didn't
to
he?
do it.
He
They
handpicked
chose to
them.
do it.
Okay. Why did he handpick them? Because he likes them as people, or because they're the most capable?
Gotta be both. You gotta
In
get
the
along.
end,
No,
they were the
it's
only ones
not
left.
both.
They were just the only ones alive at the end.
Oh my
No,
God.
I'm talking about when they were first formed, you know.
Which Levi squad?
Second one, where you got Eren, Mikasa, Connie, like, what's her face? Potato Girl. I don't remember her name. 'Cause
Sasha.
Sasha. I don't like her, but anyways,
Oh my God.
it's a different story.
Oh, did you laugh when she died, like Eren?
No, I was just like, okay. Moving on.
That is not the
Like,
episode
Connie
that's as
would
good as
hate
the
you.
previous episodes. It's the last good episode, though.
What was the last? Not the last good episode.
Of
What?
that set of episodes.
What is
Chill
that?
out.
What
weird
do you
with-
mean?
How did
Oh,
Trippy's
Trippy said his internet
disconnect?
disconnected.
He's literally still in the call. It could be a Discord glitch to where it's lagged.
I was gonna say, did Trippy change his profile pic midstream too?
Yes,
think
he
so.
did.
He
Oh my
also
God, this
hearted
dude
one
cannot
of my
decide.
comments midstream as well. Like when he said he was busy, like 4 minutes later, I got a notification saying he liked my comment or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I was uploading to Twitter, so
Oodie, I was giving you my full attention, and I was not doing other things. How does that make you feel? I am your best friend after all, even though you never want to
I never
podcast
said I
with
was
just
Oodie's
me.
best friend, so I
literally
never claimed
podcast
that.
with you like today, did I not? Today?
Today.
Like 4 hours ago? Were we not potting
So you
together?
admit I am your best friend.
Oh my God.
Oh, he
There we
yeah,
go,
Trippy said he's
so-
gonna restart his router.
Yeah.
See, Oodie, this is why Trippy wasn't never going to stream that stream, because it would have just ended just now.
Okay, whatever. I don't know why my streams haven't been disconnecting lately. I don't know. Coincidentally, it's around the same
So
time
anyway-
he stopped joining as well. Trippy, so maybe it is as well. Alright, well, that's- actually, we didn't cover Mikasa and ARMIN when they decided.
yeah, I was gonna say,
I
getting
think
back to
ARMIN was
that.
interesting. ARMIN,
It
I
took
have
them a
no
while to
idea,
resolve.
because ARMIN at the very, I
well,
don't even know
well,
if
of
he
course we
resolved
know-
at the end.
I mean,
we
we
know
know
Mikasa resolved
the very
herself.
end.
Very much so. Yeah,
The
it was
very
literally
end.
on site.
The
yeah.
last moment.
Well, is that when we're gonna say she was resolved? Like, assuming
Yeah.
like 5 minutes earlier in the timeline, she just so happened to be face to face with Eren. Is she slicing her head off?
No,
No?
it's not till
Interesting.
she has like
Headaches?
and not till she has that little
She
I guess
she
you'd
ties
call
the
it
scarf
pat
around her
scene
neck. You know.
with
Yeah.
Eren, like in the other world, like the other timeline, whatever you want to call it. He asked her to do the scarf, to keep the scarf, forget about him. She's like, no can do, not gonna happen. She puts it on. It's like not to the very end, like when she tells like Levi, like he's in the mouth, I'm gonna kill him. Like
I don't
Yeah,
see.
so please help me.
I don't see what saying to Eren that she's not gonna get rid of the scarf has to do with killing Eren, though.
I'm
anything,
referring
that's
to
the
the
opposite.
timing.
Yeah.
I'm just
the
referring to
time.
the timing, like that's that
Okay.
time of the
Okay.
episode.
But why
like
do you
at
think
the very end is the point.
But why?
Be-
I
do you
don't think
well,
before she
because after
she's
she-
really crying about it. Like
Yeah,
right
because
before
after she ties the scarf, then she says, "Hey guys, like,
Yeah.
I need you guys to help me, so please stand beside me." You know, kind of thing. Yeah.
before
So we're talking about
she
in that
has
moment, in that scene.
before like the other scene with Eren, like in the cabin, she's really crying. Like she just doesn't want to do it, dude. She's not happy. She's not feeling it. But then
Yeah.
after that, that's when it's like, all right, I'm gonna do this.
If you say so, okay.
I mean,
more entertaining than that. I
What do
don't
you
it's that
think
way.
then?
I think it's a little earlier. Like at the very least,
Okay,
it's
when?
definitely a slight bit earlier than what Camcam was just saying. Like, oh, it's after she resolved herself by putting on the scarf. She's putting on the scarf because she resolved herself, if anything.
Okay, but are you before? Okay, let's start with this. Before or after the cabin scene?
I don't know. You could argue it's as early
say
as maybe
after.
when Sean tells
So
her.
the earliest I'm gonna say is when she starts putting on the scarf versus after. Okay, like the point is it's after the cabin scene. Is what I think.
It could be around the same time Levi thinks about it when she sees the worm. He's like, this
I
isn't
don't
going to
think so.
end until we kill
If I'm gonna pick a
Eren.
moment, I'll
No.
tell you this. If I'm picking a moment, it's when she pulls the scarf out to put it on. Okay, I think that's
Amen.
the moment.
Well,
Amen,
with the
sister.
moment she thinks to pull it out to put it on. But why would she do that? Because she's
Sure.
already resolved.
It's like
So
freaking moment.
it's
Okay.
the moments before she thinks to pull it out.
No. It's the moment she thinks of it.
God. Well, again,
Because
because
Why
the
you
point
make
is
her
after
think
the
about
cabin
this
scene.
this particular one?
It's a cause and effect. So she starts to think about pulling
You're
the
a
scarf
cause
out
and effect.
because she resolved herself.
But what if she's resolved herself because she thinks about it?
No. She does
I know,
not
I know,
resolve
silly.
herself because she puts the scarf on.
I know, but realistically, the point is after the cabin scene. That's the answer.
You could say that's when she's fed up with it or done, and she puts on the scarf because, screw this. I'm
You
gonna
know
kill
what?
him
How about this?
now.
How about this, Oodie? I have a better earlier moment for you, which she says, "I'll see you later, Eren." How about that?
You know what? Fine. I'll
In the
accept that.
cabin scene.
Sure.
There you go. Okay, that's.
I just don't see why
Does
the
that make you
cabin
happy?
scene would be the scene for you.
Because
See, because that's
before
when
and
she
after.
finally lets go. She lets go of
She
Eren.
doesn't. What are you talking?
She lets go of him for a moment, but she
What
lets go of him.
moment?
And we talked about this
She
in Brittany's
doesn't.
stream. She lets go, or her server. She lets go of him enough to be able to kill him to end the rumbling.
It's
Eren
like
tells her
it's
to let go by letting go of the scarf, and she's the one that says
no. So Mikasa doesn't like forget Eren. She refuses to forget Eren, but unlike Ymir, before she wasn't willing to like let go of like Eren's life, like letting Eren die. Like she was not willing to do that, but she lets go of that aspect. What she doesn't do is she refuses to forget Eren, but she lets go of Eren. If that makes sense, like she's like, I'm going to kill Eren, but I will never forget him. Eren
Yeah.
asked her to forget
His
him. That's what
his
she
memory
said. I will
will-
not do.
Yeah, his memory will always live on, like within me. You know, his love, our love, basically.
Yeah, she won't stop loving him. She won't forget him, but she will let go of him.
Okay,
In terms
so
of his life.
she became Kurama after Neji's death. Like, he didn't die. He's
What?
actually alive
What?
because he's in our hearts. To what Naruto? Naruto's like, but Neji died, and Kurama's like, yeah, well, I killed your parents too, but they're not actually dead. They're in your hearts.
That's not becoming Kurama, but okay.
I don't mean lit.
Sure.
He's not physically transforming into Kurama. What are you, crazy? He's essentially saying
no,
the
but
same
you said
idea.
that like
same
he's
philosophy.
like Kurama.
Oh yeah. I meant Mikasa literally became Kurama. Yeah, from Naruto. That
Okay.
Kurama.
I have
meant
the
that.
panel of Hanji.
Hanji.
The one with
Yeah,
the genocide.
about I just found
Okay.
it.
I didn't realize you were looking for it.
I've been looking for it this whole time.
Did you only look it for it because I said I thought you were looking for it?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I felt guilty.
I did not. It was fine. Whatever. Since you found it anyways, go ahead.
Okay. So let's see.
And where are you
She
posting it?
says genocide is wrong. There is nothing anyone can say to change my mind about it. So yeah.
That's pretty concrete.
Where are you
Does
posting
Yeah,
it?
not
that's pretty
support
concrete.
genocide.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, that could just mean that she's stopping Eren rather than killing Eren.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Hanji ever got to the point of killing Eren, but she definitely got to the point of stopping him.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think
But
they
I think she
all
died
got to the
before
resolve of stopping Eren when they decided to go stop Eren.
Yeah,
Unless you wanna
but
say
Hanji
talk
died
to him.
early enough that I don't think she resolved to kill him
Yeah,
because she didn't need to.
that's fair. I don't know if
Yeah,
Hanji ever
because
cared about
Hanji
Eren, though.
says we're here to stop Eren. Killing everyone would be a mistake. And Mikasa says, "How are you going to stop him?" And she says, "Well, first we need allies." So
I think you could argue Hanji, whether she did or not, she hypothetically would have resolved herself probably even earlier on than Levi, considering what had just happened to her when she went down to the basement when Eren's in jail and she heard him say Takatai, and then she said all those things to Eren and then seeing Eren's reaction back to her. Like, that sort of killed any relationship they had, which they didn't really have one to begin with, but...
You could, she'd definitely be one of the earlier ones. I don't know exactly when, but Like, but anyway, moving on from that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Trippy's gone, but we still haven't answered the question: did we like the ending or not?
Oh, well, actually, we haven't got to,
Should we
like,
just answer that at
the-
the end at this point? Fuck it. Like,
Yeah, that's gonna be the end, and then whatever next podcast is gonna be. Well, technically, this entire
explaining
first-
why.
No, this. Hang on. This first 2.5 hours plus 3 hours 15 minutes and ongoing has been the intro to our finale Attack on Titan discussion. Let's be real. We haven't
Fuck, bro.
started getting into it.
No, fuck you. What?
No, I'm not
Excuse
saying
me?
tonight. I'm saying for a future stream, we're gonna do another stream on Attack on Titan. We're gonna just talk on the finale more. Like, we're not even close.
We're just gonna keep talking Attack on Titan forever.
I was hoping to get everything done today, but
Oh,
okay.
absolutely not. Again, that's fine. We can talk on it more.
I
in the
mean,
future, 'cause
we
were
can
planning to do
try.
this. No, we're not gonna finish everything tonight. Let's be real. Already 3:30.
But we can try.
If we can
then
try, we're not
fail.
going to, but we can try. Okay, come back to the question at hand. Armin, when did he resolve to kill?
I mean,
No, fuck you. Absolutely no.
I think for Armin, if I have to pick a time, I mean, yeah, you have two options, I guess.
I thought we answered this one.
didn't.
No, we haven't gotten Armin
how we
yet.
got
He's the
sidetracked.
last one, actually. So for Armin, I would pick two options.
Yeah.
There's either when he blows up the big founding Titan body, and like says like goodbye, Eren. Like either that one, or if you think that in his heart he didn't actually think he was going to kill Eren, so he wasn't actually resolved. The other one would be when Eren starts walking towards him and he's like, "You really like love hell, don't you? Fine, we'll do it your way." And he starts fighting him. I would pick one of those two moments.
Okay.
So there's the earlier one and the later one.
I think those are both good moments, but I don't know if I would pick either moment. I think I might disagree. I don't know if he ever resolves himself. I think he might be like Sakura, to where he says he's gonna do it, but at the end he would hesitate. Considering his reaction when he saw Eren's head. Like, Mikasa wasn't doing anything like that. The moment he saw Eren was dead, he dropped everything, cried, like he was irrational. That's, I think, one of, if not the first time in the series where he let his emotions get the better of him and completely was emotional.
Well,
0%
and when that
logical.
bearded Titan like ate Eren, but again, like he thought.
And
Eren
when he was
was
in the
Eren.
past yelling at himself.
But
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't consider fear out of emotion necessarily.
So I do like what you just said. I guess I could rephrase this. Maybe he didn't resolve to kill Eren himself, but like
Okay.
to
yeah,
let Mikasa do it.
That's fair.
I don't think Armin was intending to, outside of maybe the explosion one.
yeah.
Obviously, if you pick that scene,
I don't
then
know,
yeah,
I
he
don't
was
think he
resolving to do it.
thinks that would kill
But-
Eren, does he?
I mean, that's. I mean, again,
It's
everyone's
Eren
like.
gone,
The thing
blowing
is,
it up.
if you pull up the scene, like Armin's like, "All right, I'm gonna kill Eren. Goodbye, Eren." And then after, yeah, I didn't think it was actually gonna kill you. So it's like, who changed it, bro? like Sean did the same thing. They all did the same thing. So it depends on whether you want to take their original claim at face value or not. But if you don't, then I would say, okay, maybe Armin never planned on killing Eren himself, but he was just gonna let Mikasa do it at best. But I mean,
The last
yeah, you
one,
could pick either one.
unless Camcam had a different answer. Go ahead.
I have no idea.
I don't think he really cares. The last one I thought would be really fun. I think Camcam's gonna care even less. So the hypothetical, I was trying to get to this earlier, but the hypothetical, we're just assuming nothing else changes. We're not doing this what if right now, but assuming Levi chose Erwin. Erwin is in his position, Armin's position.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, dude.
When does he resolve?
I'm just gonna say, when did Erwin resolve to kill Eren?
Yeah.
And no freaking
Yeah.
way, you're
When,
doing it too.
in this case, when did Erwin resolve to kill Eren?
Definitely a lot sooner than Armin.
Yeah.
Probably when Levi did, honestly.
Maybe even before. I don't know. I could also see after, because he's like at the end of season 3, he's almost like defeated, like he's given up. Like he doesn't even want to be commander anymore. Really, he just wants to die. He's essentially
He just
almost
wants
like
to freaking see
Reiner.
the basement.
He's like Reiner.
Like,
in
he wants
season
to see the
4, if I think
basement.
about it. He does want to see the basement. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all he cares about. He just wants to prove like the theory correct.
Oh yeah, going back to Levi really quick. Even though he's an adult, he can emotionally control himself or whatever. He's freaking mad, bro. Like, he may not express it or seem like it, but he was fuming fighting the female Titan. The same with the Beast Titan. Like, he cared.
Oh, dude, especially the Beast Titan, dude. He was so pissed every time.
Even though he didn't express it, I would argue that's one of the biggest fits of anger we've seen in the entire series.
Probably up there, yeah. Also, real quick, I mean, he just says goodbye, Eren, like with a, a face.
Does he say sayonara? Because that means farewell
in the anime,
long term.
In the anime, he says sayonara, but in the manga that I'm reading, it's in English, so he says goodbye.
Well, sayonara would just be like long term, like you don't expect to see him again potentially.
Yeah, he says sayonara in the anime, 100%.
Okay. You could argue yeah.
So like you could argue like that he's planning on killing Eren here, but of course, let me go look at the manga since I'm on it and see what he says when Eren gets up. Mikasa's getting all mad. Okay, Armin gets up. That thing's alive. They start walking. Okay, yeah. John says, "Well, figures. I didn't think that'd be enough to kill you." What's Armin's first dialogue? Oh my god. Armin just looks at him. Armin, say something. No, they're looking at the smoke from the freaking slimy-wimey thing. Thank God. I think the first thing he just says is, "So you really enjoy Hell Higher?" Well, let's see. Yep. You really love making life hell, don't you, Eren? Fine, then I'll keep doing this with you until the bitter end. That's the first thing he says after Eren's alive. I mean, I guess he did. He never says like, "Oh, I didn't think that'd be enough to kill you." Only John says that, so maybe he did think it'd be enough to kill him.
That's interesting. Also, "I'll keep doing this with you until the bitter end" implies that like I don't want to say it implies they're both gonna die. But like it doesn't even imply that they're gonna die, because bitter end doesn't inherently mean death, even though that's what he's obviously
I mean, I was gonna say maybe it implies like he's gonna do it with Eren. Like, I guess that goes into his guilt later on. Like, oh, we did the rumbling.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure they all know that Eren isn't trying to kill them, regardless of Hanji.
Yeah, they theorized it earlier on.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I don't know about that, considering they literally saw Hanji there. But like, what they realized earlier on is that Eren is allowing them to go after him. Almost.
well,
as if they want
Ryan
them to stop
questions
him.
if Eren actually wants them to stop them.
Yeah, but that doesn't have to do with like whether or not they think they're at risk of dying to Eren. Like, do they think Eren would kill them?
It's tough. On one hand, yes. On one hand, no. I mean,
Yeah.
they may have been very unsure. I don't think they were confident. Like, yeah, there's no way Eren will kill us. Like, I don't think they were that confident. If they thought maybe, like, it's at most a maybe.
Okay.
Because I mean, like, think about how close to death they were at certain points. Like, I don't think they were confident. Granted, Ymir, like Armin points out, Ymir is the one setting the 9 Titans after them.
Yeah.
But still, like,
I don't think Ymir had.
that should still make them a little unconfident.
Yeah. But at that point, they're worried about Ymir rather than Eren, even if they don't realize it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that does it for that. The last intro topic I had here was
Intro.
Okay. So I don't remember exactly why I wrote this down, so you might just disagree. I have to remember why I wrote this down. But at what point did Eren decide he didn't care about destroying anything for the sake of freedom?
Wait, say that again.
At what point did Eren decide he didn't care about destroying anything for the sake of freedom?
What do you mean?
I'm guessing I'm quoting something. I'm guessing at some point Eren says that he doesn't care about destroying everything for the sake of freedom. Maybe instead of anything, everything might be a better word, but I feel like this has to be a quote.
You mean like it was just like, what does he realize that he just did it because he wanted to?
If I'm not quoting something here, what I'm probably referencing is the fact that he's essentially doing this as like a facade. Like he already knows the future, so he knows his friends are going to kill him and that he's only going to kill 80% of humanity. Like he knows the whole time that he's not going to kill everything. And at that point, is it even about freedom?
Yeah, it's because he just wanted to do it.
Yeah, well, it's because he knows he has to do this for like his friends to be held as world heroes. Both war and world.
All the heroes.
Yeah. So at what point, I guess if you want to say it's not a quote, at what point did he decide on this facade? That it's not actually about destroying the world. Because he knows he's not going to rumble the whole world. At what point is it not actually about the full rumbling?
Well, didn't he see the memories like when he kissed Historia's hand? So he already knew what was going to happen, right?
I think at that point, though, he did care about the full rumbling, regardless of whether or not it would happen or not.
So you're asking, like, when did he cast aside, like, his doubts? Or, like...
Yeah, this is kind of similar to the when did he stop trying to change the future question, but sort of like the opposite.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe once he realized the future was set in stone, and it was just like, I want them to live long lives.
But it's also sort of the opposite of that question, which is very interesting, or I guess the inverse of it.
Can you ask question one more time?
Okay.
Maybe I'm too tired.
Okay.
I think that like when he's talking to Zeke and he's like expressing like, I just want my friends to live long lives. I think at that point, I would say that is what's on his mind. It's not about actually like, it's about the friends versus more than anything else. By that
he
point,
says that in the carriage ride too, or not carriage, but like they're in the wagon,
Yeah, so like it could be as far back as then too. Like there's a few points you could pick.
Here,
can you repeat it?
Yeah, I'll repeat it, but like in a different way. So essentially, forget what I said before because I'm going to say it in a completely different way. I'll also give an example afterwards. So the Eren that I know, regardless of what you think, I think Eren in the earlier seasons cared about the sake of freedom so much so that he was willing to destroy anything. For example, at the end of season 1, when he's fighting female Titan, Annie, he literally thinks to himself that he would destroy the entire world. And obviously he doesn't have any memories or anything at that point. So clearly he's willing to destroy anything for the sake of freedom. Because he even talks about freedom at that point. So I'm saying, at what point does that change? At what point does he stop? And that he isn't willing to sacrifice anything for the sake of freedom? At what point does he not
again though, like I think context affects that because I don't think he's willing to just kill Mikasa for the sake of freedom, and it makes sense. Like,
okay, when I say anything, I mean the world, because that's sort of the same. Anyways.
I don't know. I feel like I'm still confused.
But again, if it's for the sake of freedom, then he's not destroying anything because freedom would include itself in anything. So it's Eren's view of anything, or the world. Like, if he destroys the entire world, he's not actually going to destroy Mikasa. That's not what he's thinking in season 1 when he's fighting Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm confused.
Okay, the point is, in season 1, Eren would destroy the entire world for the sake of freedom. In season 4, it seems like he's not willing to do that. At what point?
Well, I don't think that's. I mean, I think he just can't. Like, his friends stop him.
I don't think it's because I don't think he starts the rumbling because of freedom, because he wants freedom. I think he's doing it for his friends. I'm sure you would agree.
No, I think he's doing it out of his own selfish wants.
his selfish
No.
want for his friends, not for freedom.
It
Doesn't
it
matter if
is
it's
the
selfish.
friends, but it also is because he also just wanted to level everything. It's both.
Okay, so at what point did it become about his friends rather than about freedom?
Well, I think it was always about his friends too. Like
Yeah.
he wants his
Okay.
friends to have freedom too.
Okay.
Like that actually goes back to the Mikasa thing earlier.
Yeah,
Like I
I
was like, I
agree.
think he still cares about them in general too.
Okay. So I guess that
So
answer would only apply to me, or that question, I should say, because that question doesn't even
yeah,
work
and
for
now
you guys.
like in terms of when did it go from freedom to just I want to level everything, that would maybe work. In either case, it doesn't matter about your philosophy of Eren's friendship, but in that case, but you could also just argue the reason he wants to level everything is because of freedom.
But again, you could argue Eren stopped trying to change the future, so the fact that he knew his friends were going to stop him, I mean, I feel like that just changes things. The fact that he has future memories is, I guess, my answer. So whenever he kisses Historia's hand.
Eventually, yeah.
I don't know.
That's just when it goes out the window, I guess.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but even then, it's like he still like didn't. Even though he saw the future, he wasn't immediately like, okay, I'm doing this and this and this and this and this and this and this. That's that. Like there is like doubts. There's
Yeah, I agree.
conflict in his mind about it and stuff. So you could argue later too.
I definitely think it
because
was
of
a
that.
slow change over time. It wasn't he kissed Historia's hand and was suddenly season 4 Eren inside.
Yeah.
I think that was just the
Because when we see those
catalyst that led to this
flashbacks where he's
change.
got the longer hair but not the super long hair, he still feels like old Eren. He doesn't feel like the other one, like that we see in
Yeah.
season 4. So there is definitely a big change that happens at some point.
No, I don't think it's a big change that happens at some point. I think it's a change that
Well,
happens
yeah,
suddenly
that's
over
right.
It's a
Yeah,
change
I know,
over
I know.
time.
Yeah, I know. But like at some point he reached season 4 is what I meant.
But it definitely goes back to the moment where he kissed Historia's hand. That's where that change started. That's why it happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's in between those moments.
You could argue the last moment, obviously, the final straw is like when he walks out of the courtroom in Marley because Marley wants to destroy Eldia or whatever. But at that point, he might have already essentially made up his mind. He was just going like for his friends. That's possible as well. Because like the first time they land in Marley, Eren wasn't vibing with it. Like he wasn't wanting to give it a chance. The only time he even so much as considered it was when he was getting drunk with his friends with Ramsey's people.
Yeah, I still think though I would say the courtroom is like the moment that I was like, fuck this.
Yeah. Well, even like at the very end of season 3, or I guess start of season 3, depending on how you want to look at it, Eren's not he's not even looking at the sea. He's not happy he's at the sea. The thing that he's always wanted since a childhood because of ARMIN. Instead, he's pointing, depressed, very sad, desperate. If we kill everyone over there, like the whole world, will we finally be free? It's for freedom. It's about freedom. You could say that's the same sentiment as the end of season 1. It's like, I'll destroy the whole world for freedom. I'll destroy anything.
I can't remember. Was that one before or after the Historia kissing scene?
It's after, so he should already have those memories. But it's weird.
Yeah.
Still.
And my thinking is too, like he's already seen the scene. Technically, he's seen the sea in his memory, so like, of course, he doesn't care about like the sea now. He's like, I've already seen it, so like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at that point, it's more like
yeah. So I guess at that point, it does feel like it's still freedom, though. So
yeah, like I gotta do what I gotta do for freedom.
So in that case,
I mean, even in the courtroom, it does feel like to a certain extent, it is still about freedom. Like, and he's angry and stuff. But like at some point, I guess he just gave up on actually being free, and it was just like, I just want my friends to like be free and live long lives.
Because that's when he officially completely distances himself from his friends. He essentially gives up on his friends by leaving them, not communicating with them except with messages or whatever. But only a handful.
Yeah, I feel like at that point is when it's like Yeah, I'm just gonna let them live long lives, and you see him talking to Zeke and stuff.
By the way, was
I
Eren
guess that's
sending the messages the entire time, or only at the very end when he was having Falco do it? Because he was there for a few months, I think.
I don't know. It's weird because it's like
I think it was only Falco.
they seem to have.
Or maybe he was
Well, he has Falco
some
do
other
it more
rando
than
to do
once.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it would
Yeah.
make sense.
To be fair, he has
towards the
Falco do
end,
it.
because why would he talk to them through messages throughout the few months anyways? Like, what's he even going to say in the messages? Like, the point of sending the messages was to tell them what he's about to do in Liberio, so you better get over here now so that we can invade. or
Yeah.
whatever.
And not to mention, you don't want a
Yeah.
super long paper trail, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
over several months.
Yeah. And like he told them, like they knew Zeke's plan. Also, to be fair, there's also Yelena, who was just like in parody at this point, who can
No,
tell him like,
she's
"Hey,
in-
this is Zeke's
was she?
plan."
Yeah.
At some point, Eren will hopefully go along with it because I think he'll follow Zeke's plan. Like, and so they already have a sense of what's happening. And then Eren like confirms that, like, "Yep, I'm doing Zeke's plan. I'm gonna bomb Liberio. By bomb, I mean I'm gonna destroy the Titan powers." But yeah.
Okay. So those were my initial thoughts before jumping into the finale. So some other intro things I had written down were memes, Attack on Titan song cover, Kawaki's foot. We're not gonna do any of this. Anime versus manga differences.
I remember the Kawaki's
I
foot
want to
one.
wait for Trippy for that. The Attack on Titan chat in the Discord, we could do that. Interviews. The things Camcam prepared. I think we should also wait for Trippy, but if you want to do those tonight, Camcam, that's up to you. That's completely fine.
I'm too tired.
Okay. And then Attack on Titan reactions. I wrote it down, but not planning to do it tonight or as the intro. I just wrote it down so that we could know. But and then ratings, we could do that tonight if we wanted, even though Trippy's not here. We could end on that if we wanted. We could do before then. We could look at the Attack on Titan chat of all these things. That's like the one thing that stands out to me that we could do tonight.
For what?
Because there's just a lot posted in there that I think is interesting.
That you posted?
Me, you, Kamui, everyone. We just
and have I posted? I don't think I posted in there in a while.
I mean, we posted a lot of videos too.
Yeah. Like over like a month spans.
I know.
Like
I am sharing my screen. Okay, sharing my Discord screen or stream. What? Whatever.
You and Kamui since like in September.
Yeah. Okay. So it wouldn't be in reference to any of this. It'd probably start.
And I haven't read anything you've posted in here. So.
I don't want to cover this again, but the fact that this exists at the end of season 2 or beginning of season 3, whatever, it's telling us that, like, oh, the Titans were a biblical reference. That's why they were scary in season 1, but it changed to humans. It's literally canon in the series. Can't believe you're arguing against that. Whatever. Okay, more panels for interviews.
Wait, did I say that? What?
It doesn't matter. It's just a while back, but yes. Okay, here's a question. I reference this because of the finale. So, just confirming, but 1, I'm pretty sure they do, but do Titans' teeth regenerate? Or if they were blasted with a cannonball or something and knocked out, would they stay gone?
Titans' teeth.
Because we know that Titans in general regenerate. Like, they can even regenerate limbs. As far as I know, they can regenerate entire heads. Can they regenerate organs or teeth? Teeth specifically, because teeth are like bones.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, doesn't Eren get a new tooth back? Like Hanji is like,
That's
I came back.
Number 2 here, though, which we can come back to number 1, I guess. So, number 2, when Eren's teeth were knocked out and regenerated, so I acknowledge that happened. Yes, I know. What happened to the old teeth? Did they steam decay away, or did they stay there? And in parentheses, I asked,
random.
Can Eren theoretically make a pile of infinite teeth?
Does anybody care?
I say no, because the Titan transformations create bones that just go away. So I think the same would apply to teeth.
Yeah, but those are also a part of the Titan. Like, the human doesn't go away. Like if Eren
I mean,
cuts his
yeah, but
fingernails
like,
because he's a
unless you think
Titan,
that there's
those don't
just every
sting.
time Eren lost an arm, it was just sitting there, like never went away. I mean, it's possible.
So like
but...
when Eren got a haircut in season 4, do you think the hair steam decayed away? Like, does anything that come off his body?
Did Eren?
decay
I don't think
away?
Eren got a haircut in season 4. I think he just changed his hairstyle.
Maybe. I don't
Because
think
in later in
it decays away.
season
be fine.
4, he has the beginning of season 4 hairstyle again when he's in the Titan. It looks the same like so.
Like when Eren's arms are cut off after Reiner and Bertolt capture him in season 2, I don't think his arms that were cut off would steam decay away. I think they would just decay like normal arms or whatever over the course of like many months or weeks or whatever. But like obviously his hands like on his body would regenerate with the steam or whatever. We see that. So him regenerating, yes. And his Titan, once he disconnects from it, yes, its steam decays away. But his actual human body, I don't know, and I don't think it would steam decay away. I have no reason to assume so.
I mean, yeah, I guess with that logic, then yeah, the teeth wouldn't decay because apparently they last forever.
Okay.
And so yeah, then you could theoretically make an infinite pile of teeth, but
Okay. So Eren could theoretically rebuild the walls by stacking his teeth. Essentially what Ymir does with the Titans, with the sand, Eren just does it with his teeth.
It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible they would just decay, but it's also possible it wouldn't. There's an argument for both.
Okay. Going back to question 1, though. I think this one's a lot more blatant, but when Eren's teeth are blasted away in the finale, how much time did they have to get in there before his teeth regenerated? Or was he even, like, focused on regenerating his teeth? Like, if he doesn't want his teeth to regenerate so that they can enter, would it even regenerate? Like, could he regenerate his teeth there? And then do normal Titan's teeth regenerate? Like, if, like in the cannonballs they were shooting in season 1, episode 2 at the armored Titan. Like, before that, they were firing it at random Titans. It's like they hit him in the mouth. Those Titan teeth pop out. Like, they could try to eat them, but, like, they'd be using their gums or whatever, those Titans, those pure Titans. Would the teeth regenerate?
They would regenerate their teeth.
How quickly, though? Like, would they try and
At
eat them
normal
before?
Titan regeneration speed.
Would they try and eat them with their teeth knocked out?
I have no idea. I mean, they could just swallow them anyway, but
yeah, I assume so. Would they even know?
I
Like,
think it would just be normal Titan regeneration speed. I don't think it would be particularly faster or slower for the teeth versus anything else.
Do you think the Titans would, like, chew or whatever without teeth? Or
they might try and then just
like,
end up swallowing them.
It's kind of a question of would they even know?
Yeah, that's why I said they might just try and then, like, they just accidentally swallow them whole.
Yeah. Okay. But what about Eren in the finale?
I just saw about what if they just start choking? They died. The Titan died, choking to death.
I don't know if it's even possible with Titan physiology. Like, do Titans breathe?
Don't they, like, photosynthesize?
Even have lungs? It's implied they photosynthesize. I don't know about
Oh yeah, I remember what we were talking about the other day. This one was funny. It was like, instead of like just trying to fight being Ian, they should just jump in the mouth so that they can at least just break out with their swords. Because like you see with Eren, he gets swallowed and he's just like he goes in the mouth and he's not chewed to death.
Just fine. Aside from the teeth cutting off his arm, I guess the other Titan cutting off his leg, but that's besides the point. If you just avoid the teeth, you're not going to be injured by being eaten by a Titan. Aside from the stomach acids, which you could cut yourself out.
And then if you have ODM gear on, you could just slice from the inside out.
So I'm sorry, but any ODM gear soldier that died against a Titan, kind of dumb.
I mean, it depends. Like some of them, like for example, when Eren got his like arm bit, like from the Titan came out from underneath and it like bit off his leg. You know, if they got bitten like that, you know.
Yeah. I'm
it's
talking
like,
about, like,
no, they're not dumb.
Yeah.
But like the ones, where like they kind of like had a possibility of just jumping in the mouth,
And plus, that's logical. Whereas absolutely all of them would be absolutely running on adrenaline, emotion, fear, whatever. about to be literally eaten alive. Like, ARMIN was literally paralyzed. So
Yeah. ARMIN, if anyone, should have been the one. He's like, I have an idea. I'll get swallowed and I'll burst out from the inside.
like, some of them are literally eliminating themselves because they don't even want to deal with the possibility. Some of them, when they get captured, they're screaming irrational things, like that girl at Ragako Castle who was like, "Dad, I'm sorry." Okay, as if her dad was there or could accept her apology at that moment. But, like, the point is the freaking survival mechanic to not die. Doesn't matter how irrational it is. But that's...
What was she even sorry about?
We don't know. But again, the point is she was saying anything. Like, in Tokyo Ghoul, someone has a chainsaw go up in the air, and the chainsaw lands on their head, and it starts splitting their skull and their brain. And through that physical trauma, impacting their psychological trauma, because the body and the brain are connected or whatever, he just starts saying cheese. As funny as it is, that is terrifying. He's probably trying to communicate actual thoughts or something, like, help me, but it can only come out as cheese. Because it's so debilitating because of the trauma he's experiencing, that impact. Again, that is horrifying to think about.
No, that dude was kind of an asshole. He deserved it.
Oh
I'm just
god,
saying.
he deserved that. That's beside the point, though. Regardless if he deserved it, he did deserve it. It's still terrifying to think about. Like, applying that to anyone,
He said
applying that to
cheese.
you or me. Yeah, he just says cheese. That's all he says. Like, he just repeats it over
You
and over
shouldn't
again
have said
until he
you or
dies.
me, because you know Camcam's gonna say, well, for you, you deserve.
Oh god. Whatever. Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Camcam.
The fact that she's not saying anything.
She didn't correct me, so I must not be wrong.
I'll just like to believe that she's tired, like she said.
Very tired.
Okay. Here are more thoughts that Camcam probably is too tired to counter, but a couple of thoughts here. So, the first thought, Attack on Titan is essentially, what if the United States, Europe, and Russia, instead of fighting back or doing nothing at all joined the Axis powers against Poland in World War II? I think that is a fair description of Attack on Titan.
It was so weird how your mic just randomly said all so loud, at least
I
for
know,
me.
it like hurt my ears.
Scary.
Sorry. I think that was just Discord doing that because I'm sharing my screen, because it does that with, like,
Sometimes it does that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's what happened. I'm sorry.
Anyway, I mean, I see the comparison, like, they're all ganging up on Poland versus Parody.
Instead of just doing nothing at all, because the United States for the first few years chose, like, the anti-approach to where they just didn't help even Europe, like, they just didn't really aid anyone. But then once Hawaii happened...
That would probably be like, oh, it was imperialism.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's like, it's instead of waiting or teaming up against the bad guys, what if everyone was against Poland from the very beginning? It's ridiculous to think about, and it does go against you guys' argument of, like, oh, Marley isn't actually all that evil or whatever. I just think it's funny, and I think it is an accurate comparison. This is essentially what Attack on Titan is. Like, if I was to explain Attack on Titan Season 4 to someone who hasn't seen Attack on Titan at all, I would send them that. Pretty accurate assessment. As funny as it is.
I mean, it's a good, similar concept.
Okay. And then I further elaborate, but instead of just teaming up, they start doing the same horrific Nazi acts against those Poland devils. Like, again, that's even worse, but it's even more accurate considering the world considers them island devils. It's like, it's those Poland devils, you know? And it's not just fighting back. Sending Titans is, like, essentially on the same level of horrifying as what the Axis powers did.
I mean, I think your other option of an accurate comparison would be the Madagascar Devils, because it's really just the sequel to Madagascar, or the prequel to Madagascar,
Okay.
as we were proven in that video.
And I'll just not say this part that I'm highlighting right now, but I will highlight it and move on. Okay.
Let me see.
Yep. You know what? I might as well just say it for Camcam since she's tired. So, like, imagine supporting Marley and their world alliance against the Eldians with their genocide. Skull emoji. Literally gonna genocide Eldia. Oh, but those Marleyans aren't that bad. I know that's not your point. Shut up. Moving on. Okay. Ratings for the final episode of Attack on Titan.
Well, first, did you like it?
There were parts that I liked and parts that I didn't like.
But overall, okay. So you hear what you heard. You heard what you heard about the ending, how it's supposedly the worst ending in all of fiction, or whatever the hell people like ABD say. Like, did you agree with that? Is it like, do you think it's, if you think it's bad, do you think it's that bad? Do you think it's actually pretty good? Do you think it's amazing, best ending ever? Like, what do you think?
The badness of the ending at its worst doesn't even peek a little nose hair out compared to the badness that is Platinum End's ending, an entire anime. Worst anime by a mile. It's not even close. I swear it must be a troll because it's intentionally bad. It has to be.
I heard that was a bad anime and I almost watched it. I'm very glad I didn't waste my time.
Comparison, Attack on Titan is a godsend the whole way through compared. Okay. In terms of the ending, it's a very mixed bag, which overall I'd say makes it mid. There was a lot of things I really liked and a lot of things I really didn't like. Are we gonna do ratings now?
I mean,
because I have my rating,
I don't care.
but I'm not
I
gonna.
don't have an actual answer for my rating, but I'll get my general thoughts first.
Okay.
So like, dude, I think the hate is way overblown. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, I was watching it and I was like, dude, this shit isn't even like bad. I was like, what the hell, dude? I really didn't think it was bad. Like I said, there's small things, sure. Some of it, I will say, looking at the manga, the ARMIN and anything felt stronger in the anime than it did in the manga. I've only looked at some parts. I didn't like fluidly read the whole thing, but
really, it felt weak in the anime. Can only imagine the manga.
I feel like in the anime,
I
I felt like they were setting up more of a romance than the manga did.
Okay.
So that could play into the whole like.
I might like the manga more than
watching the anime. I'm like, okay, like why did they go nowhere with that in the end? Like I didn't feel like Armin and Annie got together or something, which I would say, have like the Naruto Hinata at the end of Pain arc. Let them hug each other at least. Jeez, like do that. But outside of smaller tweaks here and there, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. Made sense. Like I don't make sense.
Okay.
Throw with everyone's character. I don't agree with that.
Really quick, I do have an actual answer considering what you were questioning technically. Okay, in terms of good versus like, I thought the ending was bad, but I liked it. And we talk about that all the time, so I don't even have to elaborate further right now. But that's my answer. But Camcam, what did you think?
Yeah, what did you think about the ending?
I thought the ending was great. It was wonderful. It was beautiful, iconic, stunning, never been done before. And that Lady Gaga meme, yeah. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It was great. It was everything I wanted.
So back to my rant. So freaking screw Sour. Okay, no, it's not Camcam.
What?
Freaking Camcam. I forgot what I was gonna say. You're lucky, Camcam. That's why I said do that before I start ranting. Now I can't rant because I don't remember what I was gonna rant about.
Must have been a lie.
Gonna rant about how awful nonsense you are sometimes to me.
Dude, I'm gonna rewrite something in the middle of this series which would contradict the rest of the series. Also, dude, it's not my problem that the rest of the series contradicts my rewrite. Okay, that one was kind of funny.
Well, I'll say something
Give
that
me
I was
the,
saying earlier that I
the
didn't realize
abridged
that I wrote
version.
down in part of my script. Was one of the first ideas on stream about going back to Armin. So I wrote down word for word as a script. Something important I realized the other night when listening to Kamui in Call is when Armin is in extreme or irrational situations, he can stay rational and calm in order to work through the situation logically with words. Unlike Eren, who will recklessly dive straight in headfirst, uncaring about any harm he may bring to himself. When comparing himself to Armin, Eren considers his approach to be different, which is what he means when he calls himself an idiot. Not that he means idiot in the traditional or common sense, but essentially as a brand new idea entirely, one that isn't inherently bad or negative, but a simple, different, and unique approach. There you go. It's like in season 2 and 3, when Eren says he's an idiot, he's not saying he's unintelligent. He's comparing his approach to how he approaches extreme situations to Armin. Or at least that's my interpretation. That's my headcanon. That's the way I make season 2 and 3 Eren not insufferable.
You could also like interpret like it as like an idiot compared to Armin too. Like even in intelligence, like Armin's just so smart. He feels like an idiot by comparison. You could also just word it that way.
Yeah, because he didn't even like when Armin is like telling him like, oh, if you try to like solve this issue with violence, then it'll prove that like, or then people will only think to like solve more problems with violence. Like that'll be the only option from now on. And then Aaron's like, oh shit, like how go like oh I should have thought of that. And so he's like, I'm a fucking idiot, like because he just doesn't think of situations in that way. And
Yeah.
maybe he should have, I mean,
But even then, though, like he admits, he wasn't just doing it for Armin and the others. He also just wanted to do it.
yeah.
So
And so I think that's why he also
because he's an
considers
idiot.
himself an idiot,
I think he acknowledges the difference in their approach, and if he had the choice, he would prefer to have Armin's approach. But Eren is Eren, so he needs his approach. So it doesn't matter what he wants. In the same way, saving Ramsey doesn't matter because he needs to do it compared to like proving that he can stop the future, whatever, which is his one. In this case, Eren needs to react to extreme situations in the way he does, even though he would prefer or rather react to it the way that Armin does. Like, he just, I think, likes Armin's approach better, even though he knows he has to do it his own way, because that's just who he is. Like, if he was able to choose to be born with the ability to react to situations the way Armin does, he would choose that every single time, I think.
Yeah.
But he wasn't born that way, and he knows it. So he doesn't feel bad about it, I don't think. Like, he feels good about the way he reacts to situations, I think. I don't know.
It's kind of like he knows.
I think at the end he doesn't feel good about it, I feel like.
It's kind of like he knows Armin's right about, this whole topic, but even so, Eren just can't accept not slaughtering them before he gets slaughtered. Like,
yeah,
he can't accept the possibility that they just get wiped out. Like, he just can't, even though Armin might technically be right or whatever.
I completely agree. Yeah, well, especially at the end, like Camcam
just
saying, I think Armin convinced him in the same way Armin convinced Zeke.
Yeah.
Or at least showed him something. But yeah, like a different way, different path. And that's something only Armin can do, which is why I think he specifically talked to Armin then as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he talked to everyone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but like the last conversation we see is with Armin.
Yeah. Something I thought was really interesting, that I kind of like. So we sort of got the 3 different main characters in the finale, especially with the ending. So you can argue Akuma no Ko, the song, Child of Evil, was like Eren's theme song. And then Under the Tree would be Mikasa's theme song. And then there's not really a theme song for Armin, but like the final episode is like Armin's focused theme, or not theme, but no, but like episode story. I don't know. The ending is like Armin centric. It's almost like Armin is the main character in the final episode. Not really, because like all the other characters are essentially just his main character, but like it's really focused on Armin more so than any other character, and way more than it was focused on Armin in the past episodes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's all about.
this one
I wrote about it.
was heavily focused on Armin. Of course, there's a big Mikasa moment and all, but I think if I had to pick one character to focus on the most, yeah, it's Armin.
Yeah. Camcam, I know you
Also,
said... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just thinking, now like Eren talked to everyone in the past, like when he talked to Armin. For Mikasa though, do you think hers was just that other
Get
scene
wrecked.
at the cabin instead, or do you think she got another one after that?
I think that was it.
Which means he actually did hers kind of first. Well, actually, though,
I don't think we know the order.
technically speaking, he did all of these way earlier, so
Yeah.
they just forgot.
Is it
So it's like,
possible that he did them all
Mikasa
at the
probably
same
got
time, or
that
is that
and then
not
just
possible?
forgot, and then remembered it right before she killed Eren, I guess.
From Eren's... Well, I guess from Eren's perspective, technically they had to be all at the same time. But do you think Eren intended for them to all be done at the same time, or do you think he chose a specific order, or do you think it was a random order and he just did them one by one when he talked to him? Like, my interpretation was
well-
one by one. It doesn't really matter or change anything, but like, how do you think he did it?
Okay. He probably did Raina, Jean, Connie, and Annie all at the same time, at least. And then he may have done like Mikasa, then Armin, and then the rest of them. If he did an order, maybe.
Okay. I think it's funny how he didn't talk to Peak, and I know why he didn't, because it's like Peak isn't important to him. He just doesn't care. Like, he didn't have anything to say to Peak. But I think it's,
Yeah,
again,
like-
funny. Like, if you were
Actually,
the
like,
writer,
I
would you
have
have
to
had
talk to him.
Peak be talked to, considering she... Like, would you have had everyone that went to go stop the rumbling on that plane or whatever, would they get a talking to? Like, would Onyakapone have talked to Eren or not?
Well, he can't, so.
Okay, but you see what I mean.
Yeah, he's not an Eldian.
But you know what I mean.
No.
It'd be
Okay, then
funny
freaking
how
Peak. Would you have had them
yelling
talk to
at-
Peak? Yeah, exactly. Yelling at.
No.
But, I mean, it's funnier with Pete though, because he actually could have talked to her, but he just didn't.
But that's what
He's
I'm
like,
saying.
I have no relationship to you. You're not my homie.
He's like, yeah, all I know
like,
about you is you wanted to kill me. And shit.
But it's not just that Eren didn't talk to her. It's that the series pointed out that Eren didn't talk to her. Isayama
Because-
thought it was an important detail for the audience to know that Peak wasn't
Because
talked
he has
to.
no attachment to her, so why would he?
I know, but again, it's not up for debate or question because the audience, it was confirmed to the audience. Isayama used panel time, precious screen time, to inform the audience that Peak wasn't talked to. For what purpose? Because we already know
Honestly,
that Eren wasn't important with
it
her.
could
Yeah,
have been
because
comedy.
everybody.
It is kind of like funny. Like that could have been the reason.
Exactly.
Because all the Titan shifters had to talk. So then, if like she got no panel time, and then the fans would have been like, "Well, what about Peak?" So he's like, "Put her in there." Like, so no, Eren like didn't talk to her. Like, nothing bigger than that. I feel like.
So, I guess I randomly remembered it. This is one of the other ones we kind of put off. You mentioned earlier, Oodie, about how technically speaking, since Eren got rid of the power of the Titans for like Ryan and everyone, they weren't going to die anymore. So theoretically, couldn't he have just like done that to himself?
That's what I was
instead of
saying.
dying, just have Mikasa beat him
Yeah.
up and then undo it, and he'd stop them. Eren, quote unquote, be stopped.
Here's the
by
thing with
the
that.
Eldians.
I don't know
But
what
there
happened.
is something I'll say with
Yeah.
that too. But go what you're gonna say. What you're gonna say?
Well, I don't know what happened to Eren's main body. Like, it's like they're assuming Eren just did die. Like, they're just taking Armin's word for it.
Eren's main body is still in Trost or Shiganshina or wherever.
Is
Like,
it?
It was just yeah.
No. The worm thing, it connected from Eren's body. Like it came out
mean-
of his spine, like his body.
Then
connected
it
to
would
his
be
head.
blown up with the rest of the body, I guess. Like in
Blown
its
up?
butt, like wherever. It was the rest of his body just like in the butt.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I assumed it was with his head. I mean, the skull thing was destroyed, the big spinal bone thing. So like the Titan at the end is just Eren's normal Titan.
Well, kind of normal.
You know what I mean?
No, actually,
Like
though.
just his transformation.
Why is it colossal?
We'll get into it another time.
Because I know
I
it's
wrote it
cool and
down.
all, but like,
I don't freaking know.
why?
I
He
wrote it
didn't have the
down.
Founder's power to just make his different anymore. He lost it.
Yeah, he also
I feel
lost
like
the
that, like
worm.
again, that's more like world building. I just like can't care about, you know.
But
All right,
it's
well,
not about
I
caring
do.
about it. It's about why did it even happen in the first place. So
I know. I'm
seemingly
saying I'm giving
inconsistent.
my
Well, I mean, we know
opinion. I'm giving
why.
my
It's the,
opinion. So
first-
shut up. I'm giving my opinion. I don't care personally, but if you two want to talk about it, that is fine.
Okay, but we didn't even ask you. You just gave it without us asking. Like, what?
Okay. Well, anyways, isn't this like kind of open
Anyway.
for anybody to talk about?
But
Like,
that's the same thing that we're
Anyway.
saying Isayama did with Eren and Peak. He specifically
Okay.
went out of his way to say that he wasn't going to say anything.
because
I'm
like
wondering why.
whatever.
So anyway, I mean, like, the thing is, like, yeah, Eren lost the power of the Founding Titan. So, like, obviously we know why he did it. Why? Colossal Armin versus Colossal Eren.
Yeah.
That's why. But, like, within the story's bounds, it's like, why he should have just been an attack Titan.
Yeah, no, he should have been the same exact Titan design that he was throughout the entire series.
That's what I'm saying. Just the regular attack Titan.
Yeah. I will say, did he actually lose the Founding Titan power?
Yeah, that's why the rumbling stopped.
He lost the worm, but he still had Ymir's blood. He still had that Titan.
He has like
fluid
the Founding Titan in
within
a
him.
sense of like how we had the Founding Titan like in season 2 and stuff, but he wasn't
Yeah.
touching anyone with royal blood, so we couldn't use it.
But he was also, I don't know if that necessarily tracks, considering he had freed Ymir.
It
Ymir
still
was
matters.
listening to
That's
him.
the whole reason the rumbling stopped when they killed Zeke.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if it was just because he got Ymir on his side, the rumbling wouldn't have stopped when they killed Zeke. It wouldn't have mattered.
Okay, then did
But that did matter.
then did
for a reason.
Ymir undo all Titans, or did Eren?
You could argue for either one.
Yeah, how can you argue for Eren if he lost the Founding Titan power?
See, that's yeah. I mean, the reason why so you could argue is because they made it sound like Eren did that, but at the same time, it would make more sense if Ymir did it. But I guess it makes sense if Ymir. No, I would say Ymir literally did it. The way Eren, quote unquote, did it is by kind of letting Mikasa kill him because of the future he saw.
Yeah.
Or because he knew Mikasa was going to do something that made Ymir happy, and once Ymir sees it, she just gets rid of the power of the Titans. That probably makes more sense.
The way I see it, it doesn't make sense for Eren to not have the Founding Titan power and be able to use it. Because how did he show them their memories afterwards? Because he had already lost the power by that point. So
I don't think he
unless it was like
showed them their
delayed.
memories. It was like he made it like kind of like when Grisha. We don't know how Grisha did it besides some like injecting something in Eren, but it was like, I'm gonna make you forget for a while, but eventually you'll remember. I think it's more like Eren made them forget for a while, and it's like, yeah, but you'll eventually remember.
So it was like
And
the
they just
delayed
conveniently
Issa
remembered at the same
Nagi.
time.
Yeah, so it's like what Madara did.
Yeah, like maybe he specified the time. I don't know. But yeah, kind of. It's like, I'm gonna make you forget for now, and then eventually you'll get your memories back.
Okay, so that's something he did when
Because
he
I don't
still
think,
had
think
it,
about
so
it.
it doesn't matter.
We
if he
don't even
lost it.
see like Reina comment on Eren talking to him until after Eren's already dead. Eren obviously didn't do it then, so But he didn't just undo it then after he died. So,
Okay.
like, even Armin, after Eren's dead, he like, oh, yeah, I guess I don't know. We probably cut right into it. I don't know, but either way,
I
I
feel
think
like he also has to still have Founding Titan powers in his head, just because the tree, the freaking he died. Plant the severed head. The tree. It was the Founding Titan tree.
Well,
The
okay,
one with the worm.
again, okay, if you want to go with that, the thing is, he still has the Founding Titan the same way he had the Founding Titan in season 1.
But
What
no
I'm
other
saying is,
Founding Titans were making trees upon their death. Only Ymir and Eren, because they could actually control it or whatever. I don't know.
what other Founding Titan was just buried without being eaten? There are none. They all got eaten.
You don't know that.
That's why.
How do they know the 13-year thing if they all got eaten?
They probably got eaten after they died. They probably died and ate them after they died.
I don't know about
You can clearly gain the Titan's power after they die, as we see with Ymir's kids. So, like, they maybe Founding Titan not Carl, but like Sheen Fritz, okay, was like he just died 13 years and like, oh shit, okay, Jimmy Neutron Fritz, go eat Sheen, and then he didn't. Like, it could be like that.
Okay, in the same way, it's just inconsistent. I think it just doesn't make sense.
I don't think it's inconsistent. I don't think they buried anyone's head and grew a tree. Like, I'm thinking, because if that was the case, how did they get the Founding Titan to pass on?
What do you mean? It didn't
Nobody's
pass
eating
on.
the Founding Titan's spines. How are they passing the Founding Titan on? They buried him instead of eating him.
What? The Founding Titan? What?
Frankly, any Titan. Like, if they just buried them like a person,
The
if
head?
frickin' Frida Fritz or Frida Rice was just buried instead of eaten by Grisha, how was that Founding Titan's power getting passed on?
Well, I already answered this. Through reincarnation. It's explained somewhere.
Well, you say that, but I thought it makes a tree bigger instead. So which is it?
Oh, don't ask me.
Okay, yeah, well, it's not both. So it's it's either that thing just makes giant trees, hoping someone will fall in and start the process over again, or it just reincarnates. I don't think it reincarnates because of the whole tree thing. It would just do that reincarnate instead. The power of the Titans just wouldn't go away. So I think in Eren's case, obviously the spiny thing's still connected to his body, his head, so that could relate to that. But for everyone else, I think they just got eaten.
Okay. I mean, what would be really funny is if Armin was just bluffing and no one lost their Titan powers. That doesn't make sense because all the pure Titans turned away. You could say the Titan shifters kept their powers and that was the bluff, which would be really funny. But
That would be funny, but
obviously that doesn't happen considering they live to old age, probably. I mean, it's not confirmed, but
maybe we see it with Mika's. Mika's like, oh, I guess
yeah,
she never had
exactly.
the power.
I thought that same thing right as I was saying it.
Yeah.
Well,
but Mika's had never had Titan power, so it wouldn't matter. But
the other
anyway.
thing I can say on this is, in the same way, I think Eren sending the Titan to go eat his mom doesn't really make sense. I wrote that down. I can cover that if we wanted to. But in the same way, I think that doesn't make sense. I think you could also say that maybe Eren was bluffing when Zeke died and he lost that power and like the rumbling stopped. Like maybe Eren chose to just stop it then. Again, I think it's a little ridiculous. It sounds absurd.
You could
But
say it like it's just part of his plan.
yeah,
But
because he
that
was
being
already bluffing
said,
anyways.
I feel like they did make it pretty apparent that like that was gonna stop the rumbling. Like, so
Yeah, but they also don't know necessarily what happened. Like again, Ymir is freed. She is listening to Eren.
Yeah, but even still, like, for example, um, it's just only I mean, yes, but, like, it's just in the story, the way it works is if you don't have royal blood, you can't use the Founder's power, like, if you're not touching a royal blood or you aren't a royal blood person. It just you can't do it, like
I mean, yeah, but again, that sort of goes back to the opposite, vice versa, of what we were saying, to where, oh, it's not about Ymir healing them, it's their drive. That's how it's explained. Like, it's about how it's explained versus how it actually works in the series, I guess.
I know, but look at the way it works in the series is also what we're seeing. If the moment that the royal blood is cut from that equation, the rumbling stopped. He couldn't use the Founder's power.
Okay, in that sense, technically, Zeke's blood is still in contact with Eren. Like, his corpse, his body
See,
is
that's
still in
what
contact.
I was thinking more
Yeah.
so. But, and the thing about that is they probably need to be alive for it to matter.
Well, okay, here's the thing with that as well. The rumbling stops immediately. The only problem with this, not just real life, but in Attack on Titan, not just at some point, very recently in Attack on Titan, we saw someone be severed with their head and they were alive for several seconds later, which was a pivotal plot moment.
Who?
Eren.
What do you mean by several seconds?
Eren was sniped, and Zeke says, before you expired, you came into contact with my hand. Or whatever. The point is he had several seconds of life left, whereas Zeke
What if it's like
didn't.
half a second, though?
It wasn't. Think about physics, Kamui. The head went up.
You know what?
The head had to
What's tied to the
travel
amount of seconds?
distance. Eren was probably 5 to 6 body distances away from Zeke. He was like 5 or 6 Erens away.
Does Eren's head get sniped off?
I don't have to look it up. I can just go find it.
We're gonna find this out.
Why is Attack on Titan right there? Stupid junior school high, whatever.
Night of the End, maybe?
What? It's not working. If I do this, will it work? Oh my god, it didn't. Oh my god, it didn't. Oh no, it was right there. Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah, before that. Thaw, maybe.
Part 2.
No, okay. This one. It's towards the end of From You 2,000 years ago.
The end of that episode?
Wait, no, it's not. What am I talking about? It's before that.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're crazy.
I don't know.
Gosh. Did Camcam fall asleep?
Oh my god, it's before that. Two brothers.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Are you just doing something else?
Okay, to be in this episode.
I just don't have anything to say right now.
Okay. I mean, thoughts? I mean, we're not talking about nothing or something ridiculous. This is an actual discussion.
Oh no, I know. I just like
I mean, it is a little ridiculous
it's not that ridiculous.
We're gonna count the seconds.
Well, okay, this part is a little ridiculous, but like, general thoughts on this in general, because we're again, it's a specific thing on a general, actual conversation, like what happened here. What is up?
Oh my god, that's so funny. For a second, I thought that was Gabby writing because of the hair, and I was like, "Why does Gabby have the Titan markings? It's Eren."
God,
that's so funny.
This is that episode. Like it isn't Two Brothers.
I will say everything's slowing down, like in slow motion in this moment. So the literal seconds are probably not going to be accurate.
Oh, absolutely not. It doesn't even make sense at all.
It's in slow motion. I can't count this.
Okay, it's not about the seconds. Think about it realistically, Kamui. Based on the distance. You can just picture it in your head. It's a little sick of a thought to picture in your head, but like...
Okay, now let me just look at the rumbling one.
Okay, are you still looking at my screen?
No, I didn't realize you were sharing your screen.
Am I
I was
sharing my
busy
screen? I
looking
might
at
not
stuff
be.
on my end.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'm looking at other stuff.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
so let's say this is Zeke, right?
Okay, slow
You can
Zeke's
tell
head
based on the
down,
hair.
then it
Let me
shows
hit that.
Levi in slow motion.
That's Zeke with the hand. And then Eren is probably gonna be like, I'd say
I
like
feel like that was
here.
similar. I don't know.
Okay, so it's like what Kamui is thinking. Okay, it's almost like Kamui thinks the head is just gonna go, boop, like boop. Like no, the head is gonna travel like boop,
Hey,
even
but
more, even
Oodie,
more.
even
It's
in
traveling like
the final episode, it does the
boop.
same. Yeah, but Oodie, even in the final episode, it's the same
Am I showing
thing.
my
It's
screen?
like
I'm not.
Zeke's
There.
head's flying in slow motion, then you see Levi, and then the rumbling stops after
Okay.
that. Okay, it's like happens a couple seconds later.
Okay,
It's
but
around
just
the same
thinking
amount of
about
time.
it, it's not like Eren ever even died anyways. Like, even in his hand, he's still not dead. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Like, the head travels up and over to him. That's going to take a couple seconds. Like,
Basically,
again, it's not going just
basically,
whoop.
basically, Zeke touched Eren just before he died. The moment he touched Zeke, the spiny thing saved Eren's life.
Eren was always alive.
So
though.
his head survived for 3 seconds or whatever amount of seconds, depending on the distance. And that was all he needed to be saved.
Okay, but again,
so now
canonically, at this part of the story, let's say 3 seconds, you can survive without a head for 3 seconds. The thing with the Zeke one, it immediately.
No, it's not. It's at least 3 seconds. We see Zeke's head flying off, and then we get Levi. Okay. So maybe it just the rumbling stopped when Zeke hit the threshold of 4 seconds. It's the 4-second pass. Okay, rumbling stops.
Okay, that's also unrealistic if we're assuming it's actually 3 or 4 seconds, but which is fine because Attack on Titan's different from real life. But people live longer than 4 seconds when your head's cut off. Do you know when this happens?
When Levi chops his head off.
Yeah.
Right in the middle. It's like 40 minutes in.
Yeah,
give or take.
I'm at 41. Trying to find it.
You gotta go before what you just watched with Sean. Before that.
I am.
Yes, it's before that.
Is it? No, this is when he's talking in the paths.
Yeah, it's before
he's like,
that.
help me out.
Wait, no, it's after that.
Yeah, I know it's after that. Here it is. Okay.
Okay.
Probably going to get copyright, but that's okay. Let's wait a second until it actually happens. I don't want to.
Dude, I love this part of the episode, dude.
Okay, so he comes in immediately. Like, this is immediate. I wish I could go back like 2 seconds, but I don't think I can. Close enough. He's talking. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. Oh my god, look at his other things. Okay, YouTube copyright. Okay, scroll. I'll even watch it like this. It's fine. And then immediately Levi comes in, cuts us out. And what happens? Okay, you see the head rolling. To be fair, also slow motion. But keep in mind. Oh, I already took it down. Gosh dang it. Okay, going back to the arc. I'm just not gonna do the whole thing. Just like just like okay. This
okay, I'm gonna go. I'm tired.
Okay, going back to the arc.
See
his head is like here right now. He still has all this distance and then time beyond that. He's only
okay,
here.
but maybe when Levi's sword strike is extra strong, so maybe he is sending Zeke's flying in the sky a little bit, like it's arcing up more because Levi's sword strike's better than Gabby's gunshot, and so it's actually been the same amount of time. It's just different angles.
He is here.
Like,
and we
look
saw
how far his head
fast
away
he was
is there,
moving.
dude. His head went super far.
Okay, what happened to it? It was stronger. And so it's going to go faster. So of course it's going to be farther in less time. So then by saying it's farther, you're saying less time has passed.
No, I'm not saying less time has passed. Levi was so strong he was able to send it that far, but it still needed time to travel that distance.
Is this even his head?
Gabby's gunshot wouldn't have even reached that far.
These
no matter
physics don't even
how
make
long
sense. His head wouldn't be
It's
going
a
the
testament
opposite
to
direction.
Levi and the time.
His head wouldn't be going in this direction. It'd be going in this direction. It's not even how physics
No,
work.
Levi's sword strike, he swung it back. Dude, Levi's just that good.
It doesn't make sense. Again, that's not how physics works in real life. But again, that's fine because Attack on Titan is in real life. As
I
I've
mean,
made
I'm pretty
clear.
sure that is the head. Like,
Could be. I thought it was just blood the first time I watched. Okay. But we see the arc.
see, look, there's his head and it keeps going back that way.
Assuming
swung
it's an
back.
arc, it's like this. Like, it's a short arc, if anything. It's not all the way out here. If anything, the arc is like this.
Yes, it is, dude. It's Levi. Oh my god, you are so wrong.
Then it's
Levi's
not
is
an
going
arc.
beyond.
In that case,
if
assuming
Levi chopped Eren's head off in this scene,
yeah, his head's
he
going
went
to the
land
moon.
in Zeke's hand. He would have sent it flying away over his...
It would have hit.
Okay.
No.
Dude,
What it would have done?
Think like a baseball bat, like you hit
Because
a
the
grand
wall is
slam,
right
but...
here. The head would have gone like boom, boom.
no, you would have hit it so hard, it would have gone boop, and then all the way back to Levi.
No, apparently since the wall is like kind of strong, but like not as strong, it would have just gone like through the wall. It would just broken through it completely. It would have started the rumbling early.
Yeah, he would have actually started the rumbling for a different reason. The walls would have just fell because Levi hit it so hard, and it literally just makes the world rumble.
Dude, we should do a what if, because those would be pure titans, like colossal titans. Pure colossal titans, not controlled by anyone. Just with the behaviors and instincts or whatever of normal titans. Like, would they just try and like, would they actually duck down in that case to like pick up people to eat them to try and turn back to normal humans?
Yeah, but they just start eating people. But the thing is, like, are
That's a
they
what
even
if.
people?
Yeah, no, they're people. They're like the 500,000 people that King Fritz turned into walls. Well, turned into colossal titans and then the walls with the heart.
Well, he didn't imply that they were people that he turned into the walls. I thought
Yes,
they
he
just said
did.
they made titans.
No, it's the people that he brought over with him from Marley to Parody. It's obviously not all
Yeah,
the
but he
people,
couldn't have-
because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's only some of them. But he apparently brought over a lot, so.
But why did he choose those 500?
I don't know, ask him. Or, you know what? Ask Isayama, who once again just didn't explain it. Like, it doesn't make your story better by not explaining that.
Yeah, I still don't think. I mean, you would kind of
So many
agree.
questions.
Why does Eren have the Colossal Titan? Why would you question if he has the Colossal Titan if you think he's still at the full founding Titan's power?
I mean, why would he have it anyways? Like, Freda's Titan wasn't colossal. There's no reason for her to not have it be colossal.
Well, she doesn't have full founder's power to just change that.
Okay.
Like, I assume that in Eren's case, it's probably like using the founder's power, he would just make himself a Colossal Titan.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine, just for the sake of visual clarity for the audience, even though it doesn't necessarily need to work this way, instead of just spawning as the Colossal Titan, he could have spawned in his normal Titan, and then through the Founder's Titan powers, they could have made it clear that that was happening. He transmorphs his Titan into a Colossal Titan.
Yeah, like, especially if if it is because of the founder, I definitely would like that, just like to show it more blatantly. Because as it is, I'm like, I don't think he should have the founder's power, so I'm like, why is it colossal? Of course, I would still say, why does he have the founder's power? But at least I would know that's why.
But also in that case, assuming it is a founder's power,
You'd ask, why did the rumbling stop?
Oh, I was going to say that. Well, again, yeah, but we've already covered that. I was going to say he could theoretically make himself as large as he wanted to, like infinitely larger than the Colossal Titan. The only reason he didn't is again because it was a bluff. He wanted to die against them so they could be heroes or whatever. But, like, assuming he actually wanted the rumbling and he didn't care about them, he was just going to kill them all. Like, he could have just done that by being
done like a
infinitely large.
Rod Rice Colossal Titan. Like,
Exactly, yeah, or even like 10 times larger than that. Like, Rod Rice's Colossal Titan could have been like the small Titan that you thought was like a normal human that like Sasha killed when you thought like it was the eating
yeah,
humans, whatever. I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah. I mean that. Yeah, I still don't think he should be able to do that though.
What do you mean?
Like be able, like I don't think he should have had like Founder's power. I
Oh,
mean,
the
I know we
founder
can
power,
say it was
yeah.
a bluff, but like, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say you just sacrificing Zeke for the sake of his bluff. But
Well, obviously, I will say he had to make the bluff look realistic because it would be so easy to say that it was a bluff. But with everything that happened, it's harder to say that.
yeah,
Like, if I was Marley, thinking realistically, I'd be thinking, like, first thing I see, oh, Eldia's stopping the rumbling. Why? What are they trying to? Because I don't know that they're actually against EREN, that they actually are against the rumbling. Like, I wouldn't think that. Like, why would I think that? So my first thought is, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to aid him? It doesn't seem like it. Well, what are they? Why? What? I don't get it. I'm confused. And then when they take him out again, I'm still just confused. It's like, why are they essentially just killing themselves? Like, I don't get it. Like,
yeah. What if he just like bluffed it and like they didn't actually beat him? It was just like, yeah, I'm just tricking the world, and then like he like
that's what EREN
they
should have
attack.
done.
Like,
He could have
okay,
done
let's just
that.
attack, and then he's like, okay, that's it, rumbling again.
Yeah, like the moment that like Mikasa went inside the broken tooth to like slice EREN's head off, EREN could have been like, whoa, wait, pretend I'm dead and let's go home. Because again, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, if there's no body to confirm, they're just believing Mikasa. Like, I don't think they even saw the head, did they? Like, EREN could have just made a fake head.
They didn't even ask, dude. She just left, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't think they'll let me bury him." And she just booked it.
Exactly.
And then like Armin was just like, "I'm the one who killed Aaron," which isn't even true. And they're like, "Okay."
It'd be so easy for EREN to just have not died there, but EREN wanted to die. Like, if he really wanted to, he could have lived out the rest of his years with his friends, and there would have been absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, nobody would have known. Like, the cabin scene with Mikasa and EREN, that could have just been reality after this.
It could have. I think though, but to be fair, like Aaron wanted to die, but he didn't want to die. He wanted to die for the sake of letting them live long lives, though, is what it is. Like,
Well, yeah, but that
because
was gonna
if
happen
Aaron
if he died
doesn't
or not.
die, Mikasa doesn't kill Aaron, obviously, which means Ymir doesn't get her happiness, and if Ymir isn't all happy and she doesn't rest, the power of the Titans probably remains. Like that's the reason the power of the Titans went away,
You got a
probably
fair
anyway.
point, yeah. Only thing I
And
could say to
so
that is
that's
is
why
there
he chooses to die.
yeah.
Because he even says he doesn't want to die,
Yeah.
but like he does for the sake of letting them live long lives.
So again, that goes back to one versus me. He doesn't want to die. He needs to die.
Yeah, because his value is his friends' lives at that point over his.
Yeah. Do you think
But yeah,
there's
theoretically, he could have just like lived.
is there any possibility at all, in the same way that Eren could have tricked the world, could he have tricked Ymir into just thinking that Eren died? Is there any possibility? Like, he had the Founder's Titan power, arguably.
I mean, it's tricky. I feel like Ymir would just know that he didn't die, but yeah, like he like does the Izanagi thing where it's like I'm gonna or like kind of like when Annie focuses her regeneration into like her one eye. Like Aaron does some special thing where he focuses his regeneration somewhere, so they don't die. He transfers his consciousness like to the colossal titan, like Rhina did the second time to avoid the thunder spirits killing him. So he does that. So Mikasa chops off his head, but his consciousness is in the titan, the colossal titan, so he doesn't die.
Well, there's two different ways you can go with this. The first way is, can Eren use the founding titan to do absolutely anything by himself? Or does he need Ymir to actually do all of it?
I mean, it's kind of implied that he needs Ymir
Okay.
to do it.
In that
Like,
case,
he needs to control Ymir, essentially.
in that case, he couldn't trick Ymir without her knowing, but because Ymir is listening to Eren, if Eren said to Ymir, Ymir, I want to trick you, be tricked, would that work? Because, like, Ymir is like a slave to Eren, kind of, in a way.
Like, okay, I'm
Exactly.
tricked.
Like, would it
Or,
work?
like, what if he
That's
just said, like,
possible.
Ymir, stop making the, like, stop doing everything for me. Like, just give me the power to do it myself, the way you once did. Would she just comply? And be like, okay, I'll be free.
Like, in the same way that she went away in the end, once she's gone, she can't do anything or manipulate anything or whatever.
Yeah, what if he just, like, why didn't Eren just tell her, like, as a slave, like, yo, just go rest?
Exactly. In fact, that's a good point. If
I
Ymir
guess she would just disobey.
did, well, yeah, I completely agree. Like, assuming she did obey, assuming she just left or whatever happened to her in the ending, because apparently she's just gone or whatever she did there, if Eren just asked her to do that and she did, does Eren lose his abilities to do things, or does he gain
Yeah, like, does the power of
Ymir's
the Titans
powers?
just go away?
Yeah, but like, if he's, I guess he wouldn't be in the paths realistically. He would just lose access to the paths, and he'd just be forced back into his real body in real life. But I'm thinking, like, does Eren in that hypothetical become Ymir and just gain Ymir's powers, essentially?
That's what I was thinking, like, yeah, like, and then he's the one who's gonna build the sandcastles.
I mean, Ymir doesn't have royal blood, but she still has Ymir's blood, which what's the freaking it's royal blood isn't any different from any other type of, like, royal blood isn't actually a specific thing. That's what they call royal blood. It's just like type B blood or type O blood, in the same way that the Eldians' blood is type B or type O. Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why royal blood, quote unquote, matters is just because it's an extension of King Fritz.
But they're
Like,
all subjects of Ymir. They're all extensions of King Fritz because they're all extensions of
yes,
Ymir.
exactly. Every subject of a Ymir, this is the thing I said, is all subjects of Ymir have royal blood. That was my contention, because, like, obviously there can be a person with royal blood who is not, a Ymir child, but everyone from Ymir's bloodline is of royal blood because they came from her kids with King Fritz. That's kind of my complaint there. But to be fair, it could just be the purity of the royal blood is what matters. So, like, the point is, royal blood matters because it's like they're quote unquote just King Fritz, like, in a sense. It's like that's the person she really bowed down to. So that's why royal blood mattered. And so you could just say it's like the purity of the royal blood. Like, Zeke, in a sense, is like more King Fritz than Eren was.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like diluted.
Yeah, just like Kaguya with Naruto, I think that is the best way to
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And we'll get into it another time, I guess. The rest of it. There you go. Alright. Any final words?
No, I think that's pretty solid. Was that 8 hours longer?
Yeah, something like that.
8.5?
Over and out, by the way. But, like, we'll in stream in a second.
Over
so
and
that
out.
all this extra and at the end is actually clipped on, unlike